What up, peeps? Welcome to the Podcast. I'm your host, John Telewa, aka the Kiss Bandit. And in this show, we explore the key elements that shape our fulfilling existence, from health and well-being to financial success, meaningful relationships, and the pursuit of happiness. We cover it all. Our guests include experts, professionals, and everyday individuals who have remarkable stories to tell. Tune in to learn practical tips, gain valuable insights, and discover strategies for personal growth and transformation. Whether you're seeking to improve your health, build your wealth, enhance relationships, or find lasting happiness, we got you covered. Welcome to today's episode. Another amazing episode with some very special guests.
Yo.
So now, before we even just start it off, by the way, you guys have to introduce yourselves. Just tell the people what you do, and, we can just start rolling from there. We have so much to talk about, but, the sooner we start this, the better.
Awesome.
So let's start with our ladies first, right?
Yeah.
Or is it going to be that thing where it's like, why does it have to be?
Not at all. It's just that is my least favorite question is what do you do?
Oh, no. Because you know why? Because a lot of people nowadays, like even just in the modern era, nobody can actually just describe properly what they do, especially if you're a free spirit. But
yes.
hey, the floor is yours.
One question though that I do feel, or another way to ask this question that I know works a lot better is asking people, what are you passionate about?
Or what are you passionate?
Yeah, usually that inspires like
sounds too deep, like it can confuse someone. It's gonna confuse someone. Have you ever seen like the TikTok guy, Danny Mac? The way he comes to you, like, yo, what do you do for a living? What do you do? And everyone's like, hey, first of all, let's start with the intro. Yo, we'll even forget you're supposed to introduce yourself. Yeah.
I'm Muse. I go by Muse. And I call myself an embodied educator. I'm a dancer. I'm a writer. I'm a teacher. That. There's
a little bit more.
I just be literally like the name I go by actually is Musebeing, because I feel like my existence is just enough. And that every day I wake up and I just try to do things that I enjoy. The things that bring me money is usually teaching. I teach a variety of things. I teach English, I teach yoga, I teach dance, I teach wellness, teach people how to connect to their bodies, to their mind, align their, inner being.
Okay, we'll dive. We'll take a dive into that. There's a lot there.
That's why I struggle.
How about you?
I'm even over here like, wow, what am I going to say?
Yo.
Well, good stuff, man.
Just have to ruin it for everybody else's intro. But yeah, so anyway, how about you?
Well, I'm Ralphy. I am a music producer. I'm also a DJ. What else? I'm an occasional model. And just another person in the world that's like just regular.
You're just living. You're just trying to live your life.
Yeah,
just trying to live your life.
Multi-passionate, multi-dimensional beings.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's for sure. Because even and that's why I was telling you guys, I normally prepare my guests a breakfast, but I had a feeling like they might not just enjoy what I make for my other guests just by looking at you guys. So I'm sure you get that a lot, but I think you're very expressive. But let's just get into it, because even just how I reached out to you guys, it's just because I saw I think which TikTok did I see first?
I think it was yours. The
Probably.
one where you got all white.
Oh, yeah.
That one, but that actually shocked me. And then I think after that, I tried checking her out, because now she's in your videos. And then I'm seeing reactions from when she said it's so nice to see people who look like us on billboards. And I'm like, what are people just creating such a fuss about something like that? But then again, if you haven't traveled, I mean, that's just something that other people wouldn't understand.
Yeah,
and especially if you're coming from, like, let's say, where are you guys both from? Like, are you both from?
Well, I was born and raised in the Caribbean, so from the Dominican Republic. But then when I was around 10 or 11, I moved to New York, and then I lived there, as a teenager, and I left when I was 23, and I've been in Thailand ever since.
Really?
Yeah. So it's been like 8 years now.
Sheesh. Hey, how about you?
And I was born and raised in Washington, D.C. Specifically PG County, Maryland.
Pretty girl county.
Pretty girl county is what we call it. But, and when I went to university in Texas and when I graduated, 3 days after I graduated, I moved to Thailand. And I was 21 years old, and I've been there ever since for the last 6 years. So.
Hey, how does this Thailand thing, I have never understood how it works, because I think just people, once they touch down in Thailand, like, they just don't come back.
Bro, like...
It just changes people.
Wow. I remember the feeling when I arrived. It was like, this country, it just hugged me. You know, it was like such a warm hug. Like, everyone looked different, because everyone is Asian there.
Yeah.
But I just felt so comfortable. Like, I felt like the Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
And one thing after the other one, the country literally just showed me how much it had to, like, offer. And it's literally the place where I feel the safest. And not only in, like, physical, but, like, energetically, I feel at home, like, more than I do in anywhere else in the world.
I wonder how that feels like.
That's
I wonder.
the number one thing I used to tell people when I first moved there, especially Black people, was that this place was the safest place that I've ever felt. And I had never felt safety ever in my life. Ever. In America, where we grow up, like in the cities, like in the inner cities, in the hood, like you do not feel safe at all. Like whether or not when you were younger, it was like gangs or at school, fights, things happening, just whatever happens in the hood. And then as we were growing up, cops killing people that look like us, it was like America's not a safe place in general. For
the whole
people
racial
who look like
tension
is
crazy.
terrifying. And you don't even got to do anything, to feel that way. But when I went to Thailand, it was like, they don't have crime. I mean, they do but like...
But it's petty crime, I'm sure.
It's nothing.
Yeah,
like,
right?
It's nothing. People don't steal. People don't... Nobody's going to pull a gun on you or pull a knife on you. Like, those things do not exist in that place. And
or
I had
it's
never...
rare.
Or it's very rare.
Yeah.
And so it was so weird to experience, like... It literally was like a feeling of, like, your shoulders just, like...
Just drop, like,
just
that.
And I'm like, that's why I
the guard
stayed.
is down,
Completely.
and you're just like, really?
Yeah.
Completely. You don't, like, you never have to look back. No matter what time of the night, wherever.
You're a woman, you're anybody,
Bro,
does not matter.
Literally, you never have to look back. And that is something that growing up.
Super rare.
Bro, where I'm from, in the Bronx. Bro,
Yeah, because Bronx, I just know,
shit.
especially with stabbings all the time, people, gang fights.
Bro.
Yeah.
It was a constant. Even in my neighborhood where I grew up and I had my friends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
There was always something. You always have to be or have your guard up or look back. And to never have to do that, like.
And this is also coming from, you have the racial tension, first of all, and then you also have people who are like you and they're trying to harm you as well. So that can be really confusing, especially when you land to a place where now you don't have to care about that.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, but when you guys make such moves, do you not miss like family, friends? It has to be crazy back at home for you to just move and you're like, you know what? Fuck you guys. Fuck you guys. Like, I'm good. I'm good.
Man, listen.
Like, is that crazy?
Personally, bro, I was tired of America. That's the reason why I left the country. It was because I remember having this feeling while I was working retail.
Yeah.
Which was like the last job that I had in the country there. And just being like, yo, is this really what I'm going to do for the rest of my life? And just seeing how, I just felt like I was waking up and seeing things, And then when I did leave, my life was, the moment I landed where I left America, my life automatically went from like, let's say a 2 to like a 9.
What?
In terms of like, wow, enjoyment, like fulfillment, my life like automatically just went up. So yeah, of course I missed family in the beginning, but I don't know, you get used to it and like
You're just happier.
yeah.
And you build your own family abroad too. Like you start to meet other people who did the exact same thing, who left their family, left these things, and you start to realize that the people that you get to meet while you're traveling, you get to meet them as you know? And like when you're back home, people know you like, oh, that's not you. You're not into that. Or no, you're not.
Even if you're trying to grow, like people still remember you from like.
They don't let you grow.
Yeah,
you know,
true.
they keep you in a box. And so when you're going abroad, it's like I actually got to know who I was. I was like, oh, that's the kind of person I am. This is how I make friends. This is my anxieties. These are my real fears, not fears that people put onto me.
Yeah.
But this is what actually makes me anxious or whatever the case may be. Yeah.
Wait. Now I'm afraid of going to Thailand. Cause
You might not come back.
Because I did a Euro trip last year, and the same group of people, like they're organizing like a trip for April. So I'm kind of like 50-50 because we're supposed to do like Malaysia. No, we're starting with Thailand, Malaysia, and then what's the other country that people just go?
Cambodia, Vietnam,
No, not that
Bali?
deep.
Bali,
No,
Burma.
If it's in the same area,
it has to be somewhere close because, and then there's
Singapore?
Bali's in Indonesia,
Singapore?
right?
Yeah, Bali's
Singapore,
Singapore.
Singapore, yeah,
Singapore.
Singapore, yeah.
Cool.
So Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, and Bali.
Oh, that's not bad.
yeah, that doesn't
so-
sound like
so-
a bad trip.
So for like 2 weeks,
Yeah.
but there's a scheduled program. So that I'll still need to come back home.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely.
And 2
But
weeks
just
is
going,
rough.
but just going to Thai, I think that just sounds like somewhere where you go and you just change as a person. But even when you go there and you just land, do you think about things like finances, or that's just something that even you don't even like? You're just like, I'll figure it out there.
Well, in the
Not
beginning,
unless you guys have some patents or something in the States where
bro.
just millions of shillings are coming
first of all,
We from
if-
the hood.
bro,
Hey, I was just talking with people who invented something and they're getting those residual checks.
I wish.
We're working
bro.
on it.
We were literally talking about this a few days ago. I'm like, and we were going, having this conversation based on the comments that we've been seeing on TikTok, and it's that I wish I can take people to where my parents live. My mom lives in the projects. Now the projects is like a poor, considered a low income poor area.
I've watched enough movies and music videos.
understand what
I
the
already
projects
know.
are.
Bro,
Yeah.
I already know.
That's
yeah.
literally where my family is, or some part of my family, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I saved up money. I didn't have a lot of money, but I arrived in Thailand and I didn't have a plan, you know, which I don't recommend, you know, like
That's what I'm wondering. Because like,
I had a plan.
oh, you did?
Somewhat.
Oh, okay. Let's.
We have different stories.
Yeah,
Okay.
I arrived there as a backpacker, and I had a one-way ticket, and my plan was not to go back. My plan was to land in Thailand, stay there 3 months, and then go to Bali because I have a dream of becoming a surfer at one point in my life.
Can you swim though? Because you grew up in the Bronx.
for sure.
Oh, okay.
No,
okay.
but I'm also from an
Caribbean.
island.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. True.
So yeah,
Okay,
like I got there, bro, and I had no plan. I was backpacking for a little while, and even though my savings just constantly kept going down.
Yeah, it's deductions.
At one point, I decided like, okay, I'm gonna stay here, and try to get into the music scene as a producer, and that's pretty much what I did. And I have what is considered success as a producer there.
Yeah.
Because I have, songs that I produce have like millions of streams and stuff. Like literally, I literally have like as a producer like over almost 40 million streams or something like that. And this happened from just me going there and believing like, okay, I'm just gonna see what happens.
It's nice.
So I wouldn't recommend though going there with no plan.
That's a super high risk, but I think also at times, if with all success stories, like even from people who are coming from third world countries going to the States and making it, it's always like you have to put yourself in a very like almost like dark space where your brain goes blank and you reset yourself. It's like, I have to figure it out right now.
Yeah.
Or however, by all means necessary. Of course, 50 says, get rich or die trying.
Yeah. I mean, we're still trying to get rich, though.
No, but I'm just saying, it's just figuring it out. Because, you have to feed yourself at the end of the day. You have to pay, probably rent and everything.
Bro, and I just want to, before that, I want to put this out there. Yo, I was broke many times. Many times I've had 20 baht, which is less than $1 in my pocket.
Less than $1?
Less than $1 in Thailand, multiple times.
That's impossible.
No, I am telling you.
Because what do you do with that then?
I literally,
Community.
well, honestly, at that point, I remember, because it has happened multiple times.
Yeah.
Just trusting. Somehow, some way, just having trust in that, things are going to work out. Thankfully, I had friends that I had met throughout my travels there. And one good friend let me stay with him in his apartment. And he lived in this really nice place. And he had another room that I can stay in. So I stayed with him.
Nice.
So I didn't have to pay rent, but I just had no money. I'm also not the type of person to ask people for money, so I wasn't asking anyone for help. I was still hustling, trying to go to the studio to make beats, not getting any money, but just being okay, fuck it. This is what I got.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been, literally I've been at the lowest point so many times.
Yeah, a one-way ticket for me, I can guarantee I'll be homeless for a while. For sure. For sure. That I know for a fact. So it's scary because even when nowadays I'm always asking people, because I always talk about finances a lot. Even with investments, whether it's in crypto, I show in the States, you have your 401ks and all those other platforms, quite a lot. But I always talk about so when I have guests at times who are slightly, let's say younger, probably in their 20s, early 20s, and I'm always asking them about finances, and them most will just say I don't know, I'll figure it out. And I'm always in shock. I'm you can't do that in Kenya because we don't have government assistance here.
Right.
So practically, if you don't plan ahead of time, in such developing countries, for sure, for a fact, you're homeless. Gonna starve to death.
Yeah.
So I think even just in other places where you can land and still try and figure something out, that's a blessing, almost like a blessing.
Yeah, and also just the people that I had around me, my transition into living in Thailand was it was different because I was a backpacker. I was backpacking around the country, and I went from a backpacker to then I'm hanging out with some of the most famous people in the country. But I'm still having this mentality of a backpacker, and then I had to switch into...
Because that's where you are, and you're just trying to switch.
Exactly. So that was really interesting because, again, there was a period of really nothing happening. Just being... I remember I used to go to the rooftop of my friend's building where he lived every single afternoon, and I would just sit there and just watch the sunset. And every single day, I would just literally, it was almost like a prayer. And I would envision myself producing for people, just being successful. And this lasted, I don't know, a month. And within a month, I met a group of artists. And next thing you know, I produced one, their biggest song. The first song that I produced for them was the biggest song they've ever had. And it blew up in Thailand and stuff. And so next thing you know, I'm a regular backpacker kind of guy. And then next thing you know, I'm hanging out with the most famous people in the country, so that was really such a weird transition. And I still didn't have any money, I'm hanging out with these people, but I literally...
Your finances, they're not coming through.
Broke,
they're not coming through.
Man, that time was just so interesting, but it was fun.
But I think the best part, maybe if I'm wrong, you can correct me, being in such a place like Thailand, it's the material lifestyle is not really pushed out. So even let's say, even if you have money issues, probably somebody wouldn't be able to pinpoint or just rub it on your face you don't have money or anything.
Nah.
Yeah, because everybody could be chilling, maybe just a T-shirt and some shorts, rolling around. So, you can just chill. But if you're somewhere, let's say Miami, I'm sure you can't hack. Because it's the lifestyle, it's the Lamborghinis, it's the popping bottles, sections. So I think that would be too much pressure, but somewhere where you just have space to grow and people are just authentic because they like you. Like you say, people enjoy and like you for just being you.
And that helped a lot because people genuinely really helped me. Like one of the artists that I was producing for, he had a clothing brand. He would give me just free clothing all of the time. Like just I can take whatever I wanted at any point. New shirts came out, he's like, yo, here. Like
How's that clothes?
So I never had to worry about that. Other people would always try to point me to like the right opportunities. So I started doing like photo shoots for like street brands there. So I would get a little bit of money, also more exposure and stuff. So everyone like always tried to help me a bit. And one guy, which I feel like he was the biggest help, one day, he's a pretty famous artist there. And one day we were at his place and I was playing him some beats and stuff. And he was like, yo, bro, I'm gonna tell you the truth. There's no money in this business. Like, as a beat maker, you're not really gonna make that much money. Is there anything else you can do? And he's like, do you want to be an MC at the club, kind of thing? And I'm looking at it, I'm like, I'm kind of shy. I like a bunch of years before that, I was like a hype man for a friend, and I didn't like that at all. It was like I just didn't like being like the center of attention, kind of thing. And then he's like, do you DJ or do you know how to DJ? Oh, no, he was like, what about DJing? And I'm like, ooh, my brother used to do it, and I watched him do it, so I kind of knew a little bit. And next thing you know, he goes in his closet and hands me a controller and goes, here. And literally that changed my life.
Changed your life.
It literally changed my life. It was like one of the biggest blessings I had was this guy literally being like, just.
Hey, okay, so now, of course, we can't just let her just be. I want more. I want more of that story, but we'll have to go back to it.
Yeah.
So where did you bump into her as we introduce her so that she can just give us a little bit of a background?
Well, we met
in the States.
No, we met in Thailand, but we didn't. I didn't meet her until 3 years ago. So that's how long we've been dating. It's only 3 years, but she's been there.
Why
6
are you
years,
laughing?
You know? So
since we met, since we met, we've literally been together. I guess since we met.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Since you met.
Yeah.
Since like the first time this first date.
Like you met and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's special. I think even like finding love in Bali is definitely different from finding love anywhere else.
Yeah, it was very unique because again, we're also, in the U.S., the U.S. is a huge country, but we're both from the Northeast. And that's kind of like, you can be from the South, you can be from the West Coast, the East Coast, the Northeast, and we're from a place that is quite similar. New York and D.C. are very similar slang, very similar just areas. And so when I met him, it was like, whoa, in Thailand? Like somebody who's like similar, you sound like me, like you have the same mannerisms as me. Like that was just mind blowing. And then also to meet someone who had been there quite as long. He's been there 2 years longer than me, but he had been there a really long time. Yeah. He also hadn't gone back to America since. So I was like, oh, you're not like, you don't miss your family that much. I also don't miss my family that much. So it's like we both kind of were.
It's like, yo, me too.
Yeah, me too. And most people, most foreigners go home often. We're going home regularly. But
like a seasonal thing, kind of.
Yeah, Christmas or the holidays. But like, I was not about to spend money to go home. And and I guess you were struggling at this time.
So let's figure out like how do you just wake up one day and move to Thailand? I just want a little bit of a backstory so that
Yeah, so I studied in Texas at a university there, and by the time those 4 years was done, I was so burnt out.
What were you studying?
Not even that. I was pre-med originally, neuroscience. What? Yeah, I wanted to be a psychiatrist.
What?
Which I kind of still turned out doing, helping people, with their mental health and things like that. But I wanted to go to med school to be a psychiatrist and neuroscience. And my mom is one of them. You had two options, lawyer or doctor. So, that was my path. Yeah. My parents, they have degrees. They're very, they've studied and they work. They still work till this day in their 60s. So it was go to school or
traditional parents, proper ones who just want the formal work they know.
Formal success.
Pen, paper, and
Yes.
white collar.
But midway, about 2.5 years into college, I changed my major because I was so depressed, genuinely. I was taking things that you're not supposed to take, like I was just really depressed, like medical.
What do you mean? First of all, this is a podcast where like people, they'll start asking me, what is she talking about? If you can share that is, of course.
I meant they assign these things for people that have Adderall, that have ADHD. So at my school, in my university, these people were selling it to students who are stressed. It helps you focus. But this is something they give people who have ADHD. This is a proper, normal thing that you give people who need to...
They actually need it.
Need it. But the people who are getting prescribed it at the school were not taking it. They were selling it to the students who were engineer majors, law majors, medical school majors and stuff. And I was like, yo, what? I'm doing this shit that the white people doing? You know what I mean? I'm stressed. I'm overwhelmed. I'm sitting in the library for hours on end, memorizing things, not eating. I was not in a good space. And I was like, you know what? I can't keep doing this. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to change my major. So I changed it a couple times, but I landed on the final thing that I ended up graduating with was a journalism, public relations, marketing degree. And I didn't tell my parents, I didn't tell anybody that I changed my major.
Know?
No. Because
wait, did
doctor
they know
or lawyer, that was the only option.
Hey, do they know right now?
Oh, yes, now they know.
Okay,
they know what I
okay.
graduated with now. But they found that out my senior year by that point, But I was so happy. The last year of college, wow, I had a great time. I was enjoying studying. I started teaching yoga while I was in university. That really changed my life as well. And by the time I got to my senior year, I was like, man, I don't want to work. I can't go work. All my friends, and that's not normal. In universities in America, we don't do gap years. We don't do, it's what agency are you working for? What company are you working for?
As soon as you're done, you have to be...
Immediately.
Okay.
So my friends are all doing that. Where are you going to work? And I'm just sitting on my friend's couch one day, and I'm like, man, I'm not doing nothing. I asked my parents, my only thing that I asked them for, I was like, can you buy me a plane ticket to Morocco and Spain? I want to go travel to Morocco and Spain. That was it. That's all I knew. So I wanted to go there. Then, 2 weeks before I'm about to graduate, because I'm a PR journalism major, so we're the only people that read the school newspaper.
Yeah.
So I'm reading the school newspaper from my university, just online at my friend's house. We're listening to music, smoking, chilling, whatever. 2 weeks till graduation, mind you. And I'm on there, and it's go teach at this place in Thailand at this school, and blah, blah, blah. And they'll pay for you to go there and all this stuff. And I was like, whoa. And they have a little interest meeting, and it says that they have 2 spots open. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to go to this meeting. So I emailed the lady and I go to the meeting, and it was some crazy stuff. The whole trip was booked. One girl, her mom got cancer. She found out literally that day. She pulled out. The girl that was on the wait list before me didn't show up to this interest meeting, so I got the spot.
So automatically
it was literally
meant to be.
Divine alignment. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Because we didn't find out till in the meeting. Mind you, in the meeting, I'm still going to be a waitlist person.
Yeah.
And then this girl, her mom just so happens to get cancer that day.
Coincidentally.
She finds that, it was just insane. So I find this out, and I go home to my friend, and I'm like, yo, I just got this opportunity to go to Thailand. Should I do it? I don't know. What? I don't know anybody in Thailand. I've never been there. What?
50-50, you're not sure. Should I not?
Yeah, I was about to go to Spain. What?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, wait,
true.
what is going on? I was going to go to Spain and Morocco, come back after summer, and go work for some corporate company, And I decided to do it. Told my parents, and they was like, no. What?
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what are you talking about? You're not going to Thailand. And eventually... it was rough. It was really, 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 really rough last 2 weeks of my senior year. Fighting with my mom and just a lot of stuff. But I finally decided, and I was like, you know what? I had $1,000 in my bank account, and I took all that money and I gave it to that lady to buy the flight, because they were going to reimburse us later on for that flight. But we had to buy our flight to Thailand.
Use your own money.
And the flight was about $1,000 because we had to leave within 2 weeks. Because schools in Thailand start May 15th is their first day of school. And I graduated May 12th. So it was we had to go quick, and the flight was last minute.
Yeah.
Mind you, everybody else in the group had already known about this Thailand
program.
This program, yeah. So they had already known. I was the only person that was within the last 2 weeks. So I'm like, wow, I got to buy a flight. It's expensive, all these things. And nobody wanted to support me. My
And
parents
that's with
were
the last
supporting
money that you have.
all of the money I had. And my dad, who is retired military, he's lived in Korea, he's lived in Japan, he's been to Thailand. So he was like, you know what? My graduation gift, his support was, here's $1,000. So he basically reimbursed my flight. He wasn't supportive per
But
se.
he was just like, you know what?
This is what you want to do.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell you not to go do this, but
Yeah.
here you go. Like that was my graduation gift. So he helped with that way. And then I flew to Thailand 3 days later, not knowing anybody, not knowing anything, to become an English teacher. Mind you, I studied PR and I was supposed to be a doctor. So I've never taught English a day in my life.
Crazy.
So I go to this school and now I'm an English teacher. And these kids are like, and I'm just like, what? I've never done this a day in my life. But in Thailand or in Asia, it's quite easy. It's to become an English teacher, especially if you come from what they call the Big Five.
Oh, yeah.
Which is
States,
also
UK
very racist.
Probably.
South Africa's included, but no other African
Africa's
country is
included.
included. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, South Africa is definitely white.
But I'm saying like Nigeria speaks
definitely.
English, Kenya speaks English. Like
We are not put in that category
I know,
at all.
but-
There is no way we're in that conversation.
yeah,
So, you know,
but it's some BS to that.
but
to
I
that
understand
too.
what you're saying, yeah.
So again, they send out fresh out of, as long as you have a bachelor's degree, doesn't matter what it's in,
Just
you can
come
teach
teach.
English in Thailand.
That's nice.
And I moved there, and so I had a job, and I was working, and it didn't pay that much, but like English teachers from a foreign country, especially from the Big Five, we get paid more than local teachers do, which is also a thing, an issue, but you do get paid more than them.
You know, you can receive and donate the money if you want.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you can live quite comfortably as an English teacher in Thailand. And kind of what he was saying about how you can be broke in Thailand is that like the cost of living is quite comfortable because there is in Thailand it's
Comfortable, you mean it's high? Or
like no, it's like even though
decent?
there's a lot of tourism in Thailand, there's still a lot of people that live very middle class and below lives. So there's always going to be access to things for everybody. I've noticed in Kenya how it's like you almost like have to have money to like live in Kenya.
Yeah, you
like
need
people
money.
that are poor like really
Yeah.
struggle. In Thailand, you don't
Yeah.
see like that many homeless people on the street at all. They can afford food. They can afford water. You know, they can afford all of the things that are basic.
Your basic necessities,
Are all the cheapest
necessities
things
you can
in the
actually
country.
just
Housing, healthcare, food are all the cheapest things
Yeah.
in the country, which is like the opposite of America. The most expensive things are housing, food, and healthcare. The things that you
cost
need
of
to
living
live.
is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how it was kind of like once you got there, your quality of life goes up because again, the things that you actually need to just not be in survival mode, to not be in this like lower chakra like survival mode are taken
Yeah.
care of. Is that I can afford to eat, I can afford my apartment, I can afford to do this. So now I can focus on my self-esteem, my love life, my social life,
Personal
my
growth, everything
religion,
else.
all these things because all of your lower Maslow's hierarchy of needs are covered.
Yeah.
For the most part. And yeah, that's how I got to Thailand.
No, but you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, even for not, even your stories are kind of similar. So now I understand, even like maybe when you started talking, and the same way he was saying, like, I just booked a ticket, and for me, it's just Thailand. And even the same thing with you.
I had the one-way ticket, right? So I booked
Yeah.
that. But this program was only 1 year. I should put that out.
Oh,
the program
shit.
was only 1 year. But at
what's
the end
the
of that
plan?
program, everybody went back to America. All my other, so it was 8 of us that came from my university, 8
Yeah.
students. But all of them went back to the States and went back to their jobs. It was like a gap year thing. You did 1 year and then you go back and you do your real job. I didn't want to go back. So I stayed. And
So
I
you
asked the
stay,
school,
but what's
could
the
I
plan
stay?
though if you're staying and, you know, school is not in session?
I applied. I didn't apply, but I just asked the school, could I stay another year? And they were like, yeah, because I'm good at it.
Oh,
so they let me
really?
stay 1 more year. And then the next year, I went out of my way to find another job. And I ended up teaching at international school. They pay way more. And it was they treated you way better too.
Still teaching English?
Still teaching English for that amount of time until COVID when I quit. But that's a whole other story. But
Quit.
quit teaching English in the school. I quit that during COVID. After the pandemic, whatever.
Yeah, midway through it, actually.
Midway.
Yeah, any specific reason you quit? I mean, we haven't gotten
Yeah.
to you haven't quit music, have you?
No.
Nah.
I only quit teaching English in the school.
So wait. So you quit something that's actually paying you, and
That was paying her really well.
I'm always
actually.
asking people, like, I've never quit any job. I always get fired.
Same.
I've just been fired so many times. Like, I mean, I've never quit.
I've gotten fired before, but I've never left until that was my first time ever, leaving a job. And he knows I was stressed. I was overwhelmed. I was like, why would I leave? I'm in a good position. Like, my job is good and all of these things. But essentially what happened was that when the schools closed during the pandemic, there was like lockdowns for schools. Yeah. So my school, it was a summer break. I had just met him actually, like a month before that. And I was going on my...
So he's the reason why you quit.
He helped support me in that. I felt more...
Bad influence.
I felt
but
more
in the best way
comfortable
possible.
doing it.
True, yeah.
Because I had someone, I wasn't alone, basically. Yeah. Just quitting my job and now I'm just out here in the world like, now I have a friend to do things with. Mm-hmm. But when it was summer holiday and I was going to my favorite place in Thailand, which is this place called Pai. And I had been there many, many times before. That was like my holiday destination. But this time I was going for the summertime. And I invited him to come with me, even though I had just met this man. And I was like, you want to come with me to Pai? And then we went there, and then they shut down all the schools.
Like the day after we arrived?
The day after we arrived.
So everything in the country just like shut down again.
So we could go back to Bangkok, but it was also like, don't fly, don't...
Yeah,
it was
so there's no point even trying to go anywhere.
So we're in, mind you, my holiday destination, my dream place.
Okay.
And we get stuck for 5 months. So from June, my school never opens again till November. So that whole time I'm teaching when the school opens again, we start teaching online and all of that stuff. But every day I'm teaching and then we're going to the waterfalls. We're going to the hot springs. But you guys are together as well. Yeah. And we're like exploring this beautiful place. And I'm like living in nature. It's a small town in the mountains. Like
barely anybody in
very
in the
remote.
place.
There was no one there during this time.
It was so quiet.
It was beautiful. And I was just like living this life. And then in November, I had to go back to the city. So we went back to Bangkok and I was like, man, what? The ghetto? The city? What? This is overwhelming.
I can't do it.
I can't do this. Everything's expensive. Everything's loud. Like, I couldn't do it. The food sucked. Everything was horrible at this time. And we went back to immediately. So I had this winter holiday. We went right back for Christmas. I was like, we got to go back. Yeah. So we went back for the month. School still closed for a little bit for like 2 extra weeks. And then when I went back in January, the schools were open, but I was like, I can't do. Physically, my body, my mind, my spirit, who I am now is not who I was pre-COVID. You know, and everyone changed during the pandemic, but for me, it was that. It was like I need to be near nature. Like as a human, I realized that I was like, we need to be in close proximity with grass. I need to be able to walk out of my house and touch grass. I don't want to live in a penthouse up at the 15th floor where I can see the view. I want to be near the earth. That's crazy to live in a box in the sky. Like it was so insane to me to feel that way. And I was like, this is not it. So I was like, I literally had to tell my job that I was like, I'm not extending my contract. I'm going to complete my contract, my 2-year contract I had with them, which ended in June. And I was like, and I'm going. And it was all on good terms. They wrote me beautiful letters of recommendation. And I taught high school, and it was, oh my gosh. My favorite grades are 15 to 18-year-olds. That was because I started teaching kids. When you come to Thailand to be an English teacher with no experience, they give you the babies, okay? They give you like...
So that they can just...
Because all you're teaching is cat, C-A-T, you know? But the last 2 years... It was kind of stressful because I was teaching AP and IB level English at this point, like language arts. My students, I'm writing recommendation letters for colleges. Like it was...
So it's more serious. It's intense.
Mind you, and I'm not a very serious person. So I was like in this classroom, like my students, when I told them I was quitting, they were like, Miss Tori, like, you're too cool to be our teacher.
That's what they were saying.
They're like they knew. Like we were like this. Like they knew. And I knew that I made a huge impact on their mental health, on their emotional health, on their emotional growth. All of that, like I felt like I made the biggest difference as a high school teacher than I did when I was teaching the little kids. And that's what was so hard for me to leave, was like leaving the fact that I was like, these kids really trust me and I'm really making this big difference. But I also am teaching them to do things for themselves and to trust themselves and to know, you know, what feels good for you. So when I told them that, I was like, this just doesn't feel good for me. And they were like, man, we know. Like, you're not supposed to be.
We understand.
We get it. You like to talk to trees. Like, there's no trees in the city.
Plus, I think also another thing is like, you know how much, like once you grow up, you understand how important it is to have like just a role model for you, and now you have the chance to actually do that to the kids, and calling you cool. They can see you're young. It's not easy to connect with, especially teachers. Most teachers are just like
at all.
They're boring.
They're boring. You don't want you don't even want to grow up to be like that. So I'm like, why are you teaching me?
And that was my
This is not working out for you anyway.
And that was my goal. My goal teaching, because I had a big imposter syndrome when I first started, because I accidentally got into this job. You don't get a job at an international school unless you have a master's degree usually.
Yeah.
So it's like I felt imposter syndrome.
Paperwork has to be on point.
I felt like I was not supposed to be there. Like when they interviewed me, I was like, but they just loved me, and I was like, y'all know I don't have a master's. Y'all know I haven't been teaching that long.
We don't care.
But they could tell that but so that first year I was overwhelmed and I was so stressed. I thought I was such a terrible teacher because I was the youngest one in the school, and it was just so overwhelming. But then I started to see the impact that I was actually making on the kids. I was like, you know what? The only thing I care about is being a teacher that I wanted when I was in high school. Period.
True.
And as long as my students get are good grades, they're learning, they're understanding. And English, to some extent, it's all fake anyway. That's what I learned as well. Is that teachers telling you what a book means? They don't know. Who knows what this book?
They don't.
It's conversation. English is literally, language arts is literally dissecting and analyzing what we all believe this to be. Yes, some people say this, some people say that, but at the end of the day, I really learned that it was I want to teach these kids how to think. Because in Thailand and in Asia and just many countries, I've noticed from TikTok, from all over the places, that education and critical thinking and being able to think outside of your perspective and the way that you grew up and the things that people are telling you, all their parents telling them they have to get straight A's, they have to study math and science, go be doctors, go to the best schools in Japan, Korea, the U.S. And I sat there and I was the only one telling them, I'm like, man, you don't have to. And you can also do that, and you can also not do that, and that it's okay to not do that as well.
Yeah.
And at least they had another perspective. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be the one that's going to tell you to quit school or drop. I'm never going to be that person, but I am going to tell you that it is okay, that there's different ways to do things.
That critical thinking part, that's what's kind of not even
They
put
don't
in
teach
people's
that.
head. So even growing up, they forget about, so you only expect to be told what to do.
The right answer.
Yeah, and you can't survive with that. Once you're out in the real world, you just realize actually things don't work like that.
At all.
Right.
And
I have papers, I have degrees, but I'm not happy. This is not how it's supposed to.
And everyone's always looking for the right answer. I remember teaching at the Thai schools, and they'd always be I put and write your opinion, or what do you think at the end of a question, right? And the students would literally be like, but teacher, what's the answer? And I'd be like, write the answer.
Yeah, what do you think?
No, but what do you want me to write? And I'd be like,
shit.
no, I want you to tell me what you
do you
think.
want me to write?
And it was so difficult sometimes to get students to understand that what they say and what they think matters. That there's not always going to be a right answer. That's why they like math. That's why they like science, because there's a right answer.
Because you're solving a problem.
They're solving a problem, and there's only one answer. There's ways to get there, but there's one answer. In English, there's never a one answer, ever. We used to make jokes about that, because they'd be like, oh, there's it could be
Here we go
answer.
again. Here
It
we
can
go
be
again.
anything.
It can be anything. But that's special. So now let's go back to now. The two of you have already met. You're sharing these backgrounds, enjoying this nature and everything, right? Why are you making that face? Why are you making that face?
No, that's what we were doing.
Just
We're having a lot of fun,
We
man.
were having a lot of fun.
so here you are, nature and everything. Okay, first of all, wait, you guys don't have any kids, right?
No.
No?
No kids.
You stayed together for how long? First of all, look at him you said you've been together for how long, right?
Almost 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
2
Because I've had a couple who were stuck together during the COVID period, and they're on their second kid right now.
Oof.
Yeah,
That's one of my friends. I was just like, what? I'm like, and then she's like, yo, she said she wants 6. But even just they had a similar story where 2 people are supposed to be together during the pandemic, and then you just start finding different things that you actually relate to and connect to, and you're like, you know what?
Yeah, it broke some people and it made some people, I think, a lot.
Okay,
And
now we'll get to the family part, kinda.
Yeah.
But you guys do want kids in future, right?
In the future, I say
Yeah, no pressure.
Some
Next
point.
year,
Some
No,
point.
you know what it is, bro? It's we just kids.
Yeah,
We're just kids.
Kids of the adult
When
world.
do you want to have kids, though? What do you think is the ideal age? Because I can tell you guys actually genuinely just love each other. And even just having such a backstory, if you think about it, right now, it's so hard to have connections with people.
It is.
Even just trying to get a nature story, where do I get that?
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah.
Impossible. You've seen how crazy Nairobi is? Where? You can't get like such stories where you can just wake up in the morning, walk in the grass, hold hands, share a meal together, you know.
That's true.
Not eat meat, together, you know. Hey.
Shout out the animals, man. Shout out all the animals.
I always
out there.
wanted to be a young mom, to be fair. So I'm 27 right now.
Yeah.
And I see myself having a child before I'm 30. Like by 30, probably at least one.
You know, you don't have to tell him though, right? You can just surprise him like, oops.
But my mom also had me when she was 39, almost 40. So like, I feel like in my genes too, like
you can
I
manage.
think I could have a baby
but would
a little bit
if
later
you want
too.
like more than one, I'm guessing you would want to do it slightly just
A little bit earlier, yeah, at
because
some
you know
point.
when you're slightly younger and you can even stress levels when you can you imagine if you're in your late 30s and you have a kid is just screaming in your head and you're just trying to meditate. You're doing your yoga poses and you're just like, God help me get through this.
And I learned from, again, my relationship with my mother, of having a mother that had me when she was close to 40 and how big our age gap is and the disconnect that we have in our relationship.
Even playing, can she
Because
come out and play with you,
No.
running around?
So yeah, that's something I think about often. Is just like, I don't want to be so far removed from my child's like generation to the point where I can't connect with them.
Yeah, even if it's social media thing you're trying to keep up, because then there'll be probably a whole different social media platform that they're using. And you just don't want to be this dinosaur that's trying to catch up with like, what's this virtual reality thing you're talking about?
Which I doubt we will ever be that, because we're too, I don't know, I feel like
the Thailand thing must just make sure you're on point with everything
like
that's
what I'm
happening,
saying.
right?
Like, as much as we are like people who enjoy being in nature and like simple life, but we're still connected to everything, you know, like we're not against anything, like, you know, especially technology. Like, I work on my laptop, you know, like, so I know, so I'm aware of everything that's going on. We're always aware of things, you know, we still have our connection to the reality around the world, whether it's on TikTok or Instagram. We still have that connection to the culture, you know, like even though we don't live in America, we're still connected to that place.
Balance,
especially like with the social media thing, just to tap into that, because like I think that's even like how like I just realized like, yo, these people just look so different. That's why they were calling you white in Mombasa. That's why they're calling you white. Because I was seeing his video, but now that I think about it, I'm like, I understand why immediately, but I think it's just the aura that you have, maybe just from being like in Thailand,
bro.
It just makes you feel different.
And I think I mentioned it in one of the videos as well. It's funny enough, somebody commented and it was like, oh, you don't look different, all this, and you said something that's really important. That I don't have to look the wildest or the most different, but you cannot lie. Energy doesn't lie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and this is something that we're both well aware. Everywhere that we go, our energy is felt.
Yeah.
You know, the moment we're walking
Different.
down anywhere, people literally come up to us, you know, and like,
like,
yo, bro, and
we want to know more. What's going on here?
You know, the amount of, as many interactions that I had that I didn't enjoy or that I haven't enjoyed, especially on the coast, of people coming up to me trying to sell me something or this and that. The amount of people who also would just come up to me and just be like, just walk with me and just to have a conversation.
Yeah.
And then once I told them that I was from the islands, that invoked so many thoughts and you can see the people when they smile. So like
Rasta,
energy.
They love it, Rasta. Not even from Jamaica, but they're like, islands, Caribbean is Rasta. Jamaica.
True.
So yeah, like, bro, just energy just does not lie. And that's what I really mean by, we're different. It's that our energy is just different, you know, and it brings so many good things to not only us, but the people that come in contact with us as well, you know?
True.
I said something the other day about like, it's harder. I don't know how exactly I said it, but I said something like, it's harder to be a foreigner in Kenya than it was to be a foreigner in Thailand.
Oh, crazy.
And I was like, that's so
but wait, even for you guys?
disheartening. Yes. Because I was like, in
But
Thailand.
she looks a bit Kenyan. That's
But
the
at
thing.
least in Thailand, we just different. You know, like you're a foreigner and you're different. Period.
So even here, you can
But
kind of
here,
feel it.
I don't feel like a foreigner, but people treat me like I'm a foreigner. So it's like being
maybe
treated,
when you speak. You can go just somewhere and just chill, and then if somebody's asking you a question, just do this.
Yeah, just nod. But it was almost like
But what makes you feel that, or just what?
it was mostly on the coast. I'm gonna say I feel like a lot of
Yeah,
that came
coast.
from our experience being on the coast, which we now are understanding is just tourism heavy.
Yeah.
So they just assume, and people from even the comments on TikTok community, people were saying that even people from Nairobi get treated differently because their accents are different than coastal accents.
For sure.
But for me, it was just being in this country. It's like you, as a Black American, and this is something that I really want to share with like Kenyan people and like all African people, honestly, is that we have such a unique culture. Like being an African American, which I don't even technically feel like, because I don't know where my family comes from in Africa. I don't have a country to call this is my home country, you know? So when people are like, go back to your home country, it's like, where? America don't feel like home.
You've gotten that in the comments as well?
Yes. I've gotten tons of people telling me to go back home. And I'm like, man, y'all supposed to be my home. You know?
But from Kenyans, right?
Yeah, from Kenyans too. And I sit
Kenyans
here.
on TikTok are assholes though. So don't pay attention. Don't pay attention to that.
But
Plus, some people are just bored. I think, just professional trolls.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Genuinely, we
Yeah.
we
We've
figured that
learned.
out.
you can't take them too seriously.
Yeah, but it was like especially African Americans, it's like we a lot of times feel like we just don't fit in anywhere, right? We don't have a place to call home. Even him, he's from the Dominican Republic. I don't have a country that I'm from, that I can say that I am from. I don't feel like a freaking
because he
American.
has like somewhere he can say like,
Yeah,
if I
he
want to
has
go back to
actual
my
roots.
home and yeah.
They trying to kill me in my home country. So I'm like, I cannot claim.
Where can I go?
Where can I
even
go? So then
Yeah.
to come to Africa, we all have this like dream, right? This African Americans have this like, oh, we're going to go back to the motherland and this is going to be the home. And then I came here and I was like, oh my God, they hate me.
Was this your first time like in
This is my
Africa?
first time ever in
Oh,
Africa.
shit.
Yeah.
First
And
time.
you picked this country?
It was the cheapest flight from Thailand.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Which we've been
Wait.
telling Kenyans. It was like 300.
$330
One way?
or
What do you
something like
mean?
that.
And
Yeah.
Kenyans don't even know. They're like, wait, because I never looked up going
Wait,
to
it's
Thailand.
$300 coming here. What
Yes.
is
One
it?
way,
From one way,
yeah.
one way.
But going back?
It was about the same. We just
About the
booked our
same.
flight, but it's
So
about the same.
you mean to tell me
$600 for you to go to
$600 I can go and come back?
And I heard it's way more expensive to go to South Africa
Oh yeah, for
or,
sure. Oh yeah.
anywhere
for
in the continent.
Tanzania.
Exactly.
Tanzania has to be more expensive,
came-
and that's like probably 45 minutes if you're going on plane.
And in my TikTok comments, they be dragging, oh, y'all come from money, y'all American. I'm like, you don't understand how cheap my flight was.
Oh yeah.
Because it was cheaper
Yeah.
for me to come here than it is for you to go next door.
True.
So coming here, I was just like, wow. It's like, as an African American, you want to be accepted so bad by the people who, again, you think are your people that look like you. And there was this woman we met on the coast, and I think I really love that she said this.
Yeah.
She said, we, as African Americans, can see ourselves in them, but they can't see themselves in us. And that was something that really resonated
How?
with me. Of like, when I look at, like if I look at you, right?
Yeah.
I immediately am like, that's my brother.
Yeah.
If we was in America, we'd all be
We
niggas,
homies, yeah,
you know?
like-
We'd all be,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But
True.
she was like, being here, she had to realize that like when not you, but
Yeah.
maybe a Kenyan looks at me,
Yeah.
you're a foreigner. You know what I mean? You're not my brother. You're not my
Oh, okay,
sister.
I
You're
get- I
not.
get you, I
You're not
get you.
Kenyan, right?
Yeah.
I'm not a part of the tribe. I am
I
a
get you.
foreigner.
Okay.
So it's like this disconnect. That's always this wall in between the two,
Oh, yeah.
and that is a struggle for me on that side because it's like.
Because it's coming from someone who looks
Who
like
looks
you.
like me.
So
And we were
that's weird.
taken
That's
from
strange.
this
Yeah,
place.
yeah,
It wasn't
yeah.
like I chose
True,
to
true.
go study in America and live my life there. It was
yeah.
like my ancestors were stolen from this land,
Yeah.
brought to this place, raised there, went through slavery, went through all of these things, which is a whole different trauma that Africans from the continent have their own trauma with white people, have their own
True.
trauma, you know? But African Americans, we have our own thing. And that disconnect, and it sucks because it's not even our fault as, as African people
Yeah.
from the diaspora. It's colonization. It's tons of things. That's the reason why we have this disconnect with each other. Because
Do you think it comes off like disrespectful?
I don't think it's
Because
disrespectful.
people in
I
the
think it's
coast
just
love white.
uneducation.
They love white people. They
Trust
do
me, we know.
love
They
white
spoke
people.
Italian better than they spoke
Oh
English.
yeah, for
And we
sure.
was like,
For
wait,
sure. They love
what?
white people.
Kids out here speaking Italian fluently?
Yes.
That's wild.
They practice just so they can speak like to the tourists like, And but that's a coast thing. That's not Nairobi people. We don't do that because, like, even if you've gone to places maybe where you're drinking with people, going to dance to music, like people treat you kind of like
That's why we came back.
Actually, like when we
That's why we came back.
Yeah, because coast they make you feel like a bit weird.
like you are a fucking walking dollar sign.
Yeah. For sure.
That's what it felt like.
Everybody's selling you something.
And here, when we first arrived in Nairobi, it was actually so fucking awesome to walk around and everyone is black.
Yeah.
And
That's shocking for
we
us.
saw it. We were here for like a week and some change. We barely saw any. We saw like one white person.
Yeah.
And that was fucking amazing. It's in Thailand. Yo.
Asian
Oh,
and
it's
white.
a lot of Asians and
And
whites.
white.
Yeah,
so
for
many
sure.
white people there,
Tons
bro.
of them. White people is everywhere. We're not missing them in any country. I promise you, they are everywhere. It's the one person you can see
Everywhere.
everywhere at all
Yeah.
times.
So to come here and Nairobi specifically, and we were here the whole entire time, we had seen literally like two. That was
Yeah.
fucking amazing. That felt so.
It feels good.
I just felt comfortable. I felt like, wow, like this feels good. I don't have to. I don't know. I don't know exactly what the word is, but it just felt really fucking good. And when we went to the coast, and automatically, it did.
How long did you even stay in the coast?
17 days.
17 days.
17 is a
Exactly.
lot. Though 17 is a lot.
Well, the plan. So
And it all wasn't that fun.
wait.
How we got there.
But listen, for people to understand us, we are not considered. We don't consider ourselves tourists. We are slow travelers. So when we're going to a place, we want to travel a long term.
Oh, and just enjoy, have the experience.
Because we
can't.
Right now,
Yeah.
the reason why we left Thailand or we are outside of Thailand is because the town where we live, it's the burning season. So the farmers, they're burning the crops. And it becomes so toxic. Like the air, we can't breathe. So we have to leave.
Okay.
Every year we just go somewhere. And instead of going south, which usually... Southern Thailand, the air is a lot cleaner. We're like, okay, let's just go somewhere. And due to her friend suggesting it, we came to Kenya. So we're like, okay.
Kenyan friend.
We're like, okay, we're going to be
Oh,
here.
it's a Kenyan friend.
I went to university with her. She recommended. She was like, go to
nice.
my home country. And we looked it up,
Yeah.
and it was the cheapest flight from Thailand. The cheapest
That's the
African
cheapest
country
flight.
to fly to is Kenya.
How
Africa,
is that
yeah.
even possible?
In Africa, from
understand that.
Thailand. So come visit in Thailand, yo.
Shit. Because for $600 makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Because I thought it would be like 1,000 and above. So
No.
600.
If it was, we would
We
probably
would not be here. We thought we were going to go to so many. We were like, oh, once we're in the
Yeah.
continent, we'll go to South Africa. Then we looked at the flights.
Yeah.
We've been in Kenya the whole
Crazy.
trip.
Okay, so now, like, what just other experiences have you had, like, just in Kenya? Because I have so many things to talk to you guys about, but I have to touch on, like, just where you're getting a lot of reactions, especially with just, like, social media. What other things, like, just caught you off guard, like, about what you're expecting in Kenya, how you're just interacting with people?
Well,
What's odd, what's weird, what's nice?
okay. I
No,
think,
anything.
Well, we didn't do much research. So I genuinely thought Kenya was going to be cheaper to live. Because to go back a little bit to the slow travel thing, we're traveling our plan was to be here like 3 months. And that means we're gonna like rent.
I think
a
I'll
place.
need an extra memory card, but I got you.
So we thought we were gonna. I thought we had this misconception that it was gonna be a lot cheaper to live here. Food, honestly,
Crazy expensive?
not crazy
Expensive and
expensive,
also
but
the quality.
just very. It's just not very diverse, like.
Nutritious either.
Yeah, it's.
And I spoke to
Hold-
Kenyans
it's
about
heavy.
that as well, too.
Hold on. Huh? What exactly do you mean by that?
I thought I would see a lot more variety in the food, like, but chapati and like potatoes and beans and like mchicha. That's like the
That's it.
base.
Standard.
Yeah, exactly. And other things are like a lot more foreign. You know what I mean? Like we just finally, after being here for almost 2 months,
Yeah.
Found a salad place. Found fresh food. Like a fresh place where you could get like just a fresh salad.
Where is that? The
Zucchini.
Zucchini.
And that was from TikTok. People were dragging me because we were asking, where did y'all find fruit. I asked TikTok, like, where do you guys get your fruit? And somebody mentioned Zucchini Grocers, so we went there, and they have like and it's kind of bougie, but they had like a salad bar, just so you can get something fresh, something that wasn't cooked. Just
I get
thing.
you. Especially because you're vegan.
That,
and you know that.
And the nutrition level is just like, you go places and it's like, and I've spoken to many Kenyans about this. I feel like they even notice it once I mention it, that like you go somewhere, right, and like. I ask people, like, what vegetables do you have? And they'll be like, okay, I have mchicha, I have spinach, maybe cabbage. And then you get, let's say, chicken or fish or whatever the case may be. The chicken is this big, this big.
And a small portion of greens.
The
just
greens
like
is this big.
Oh, yeah.
And
Because I'm
like,
a greens person. So I'm always telling people, like, I've said, just
3
more
orders
greens.
of it. Like, what?
Or just tell me if I need to pay extra, but I need more greens on my food.
That's not a balanced diet, you know
yeah.
what I mean? So it was just like coming here, we didn't realize that
But
we wouldn't even have access.
But why not just buy?
Oh,
I mean,
it's
it's cheaper. It's cheaper. Just go to like
cook?
just because I'm guessing like if you're doing like your vegan meals, it's gonna like save you a lot of money for one. Because any food that's considered like vegan, and you go to those salad spots, they'll be there, but they'll charge you like crazy.
Hella money.
Yes.
So you'd rather just go to like some supermarkets. You can get like just fresh groceries if you wanna explore and go to the market. But definitely, once you speak, they're gonna overcharge you everything in the market.
Which is another thing, man.
The moment you speak, they're gonna overcharge you.
Bro, she just made a TikTok about it when she was asking people where they buy things. Because we were walking, and I was like, I've never felt nervous to go ask a local person the price, because I already know. I have the fear in me that they're gonna overcharge.
He called it consumer security. He was like, I don't have any consumer security.
Because they'll be like, you said you want the price for what again? Especially when they repeat the question that you asked them. You say the price for mangoes. Okay.
And that's when you know.
They thinking too long. If it don't come out in the first second, I'm like, nope, next one.
But now you see, if you go to like a supermarket, like you can go and then they just wait and then they put a sticker. You get decent prices, and then just go fix your salad at home. If that's something that you can do.
Point.
Like, I think it's just going to save you like so much money, and it'll be easy because you pick what you want.
Exactly.
The flavors that you want, that's just going to be easy.
But it's different when you first arrive in a country and you're so curious.
Because you want to go and experience. And
especially the way that we travel, bro.
Yeah.
We want to be with the locals.
We want to eat on the side of the street.
Oh, yeah.
We don't care about the
But in Nairobi, would you get that? No. You'll just get like maybe... or not what you would want, because now we have like there's everything else that I can suggest, like maybe on the street it's gonna have meat,
sausage,
eggs. They have like something called muturas, so like samosas.
The dough. What's the dough one?
Which one?
The breakfast.
Mahamri.
Yeah.
That's the breakfast. You got all this fruit in this country, the most common thing for breakfast is people go out and they get a tea, a samosa or dough.
But I don't do that though. Like for me, even if you check on my TikTok, I'll go buy like bananas,
like fresh fruit.
Oranges. I'll have raspberries, and I'll make my smoothies and stuff.
And this is on the coast, honestly.
The coast is kind of crazy.
The coast is crazy.
Different.
Coast is crazy. It's not the same place.
The coast is literally a food desert.
It was literally a food desert.
First of all, asking for greens in coast.
It was crazy.
Everybody's just like, greens?
So like, what vegetables do you
I just want to give you beans all the time.
Yes.
Or maybe some, now if you're special like
chips.
Chips.
Yep.
Or like they'll just overprice like catch of the day, some crazy fish that they caught, and they start saying like, you know what? This we caught it like, but you don't even eat fish, right?
So we have a story about that, actually.
Yeah.
Hey. Tell us more.
So I've been vegan. My journey through this diet has been up and down. And this is the longest I've gone without eating any type of animal since we met, actually. And she has been vegan, I think, 5 years. So she hasn't eaten anything like that. And again, we were there now, like I think almost 2 weeks, and we're like, okay, we're noticing we're not getting any nutrition. We're only eating fucking either rice with a little bit of vegetables. What else?
Beans.
Maybe beans, and then what's the ugali?
Oh,
so this is
horrible.
This is what we're eating.
Horrible
diet in general.
It's just carbs. You're just eating carbs.
That's it.
and we're sweating.
It's just
all
dry
day.
food. It's just dry food.
It's dry.
It's dry food. It's
And
just
we
dry
are sweating, so you're
They're
just
holding-
burning
yeah.
calories.
It's
and
super
carbs.
humid, it's super
you're
humid.
weak. It was
Bro,
horrendous.
And then one morning we wake up like, okay, let's go to the beach. It was early in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I got in the water, bro. And I'm in the water. I'm there for a few minutes. And suddenly this message just came up. And I turned to her and I was like, hey, is it okay if we try eating some fish? Like I literally...
Like, yo, like,
Something,
can we just,
bro,
yeah.
It was
something
like
told me.
Yeah.
It was literally like the moment I got in the water, bro. It was so strange because I'm having this moment where I was like, wait, what the fuck? Like, this is not a thought that I will have. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Usually, but I got in the
What's
water.
going on? Yeah.
And that's literally the message that came up. So I'm like, hey, like, would you support me in this? Would you mind if we like try it? And she was like, let's give it a try.
And?
We
we ate it.
How-
we asked
hey,
our,
how
we asked, like,
was
our
it?
boater driver, and we
How
were like,
was
can you
it?
take us to the who has the freshest fish?
Oh,
like,
yeah,
where do you
fresh
go
fish.
for fish
Yeah.
and stuff? And he took us to Fatuma.
this on the side
No
of the street.
restaurant.
Yeah.
It's just the name of the chef.
Yeah.
It's Fatuma. And she brought a basket and she was like, pick which ones you want. Each is 200 or whatever, each piece or whatever. And we sat there. I had my tarot cards. We like pulled
Pull the
like a
cards
tarot
first.
reading because this was such a big thing for me, for us in general,
Yeah.
because it was like, again, this is something that we choose to do this.
Yeah.
We don't have to do this. We ate meat before, we just decided not to do it anymore.
I'm telling you, today, if I made my regular breakfast that I do for guests, I'd have been traumatized. Have arrived and they're
didn't
just
go any
steaming
further
hot and
than
be like,
fish.
yo.
Oh my God.
To be fair, we didn't go any further than fish.
No,
We were on the
that's
coast.
like, even
But-
that's like, I can just imagine. And that's why I'm saying, like, especially if you're having a vegan diet, your nutrition has to be on point because
Yes.
otherwise you'll be weak during the day.
Yeah.
And even how hot it is in Nairobi.
And zero
You can,
access.
you can pass out. You can pass out just because you're not
Literally.
eating proper.
It was zero access to things, and that is what the messages in the cards were kind of saying was that, like, again, people have these strict ways that they think and the strict ways of diets, and there's the people that are like vegan, this environmental, you're so whatever. And I was like, this messages that kept coming through to me was like, if this was the end of the world, you
Yeah.
would die, girl.
Yeah.
Trying to hold on to your beliefs so
True,
hard.
true.
It's like you literally, your body is not getting enough nutrients. And if you truly believe in
Yep.
a healthy lifestyle and taking care of your mind and your body,
take care of
you
your body
have to figure
first.
out
Yeah.
what can you eat that is the most sustainable and most ethical thing that you can eat on this coast. And we were like,
Yeah.
okay, everyone's eating fish.
Yeah.
Everyone's catching the fish. When the fish runs out,
And
they was
it's
running out of
fresh.
fish
Yeah,
every
yeah.
day.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
most restaurants.
Yeah.
In other countries, Thailand and America, they don't run out of fish because it's not sustainable. They're overfishing. It's not you're supporting a business that's not actually ethical in the first place. But at
True.
least on the coast, it felt quite ethical to at least that these fishermen are going out, grabbing this fish, and
You
you're
can
eating
actually
it.
see them.
You can see them out
You can
there.
see them catching the fish, yeah.
And I felt good about it. After we ate it, we were like, I thought I was going to feel like horrible and like I was like a terrible person. I'm like, wow, like I've been vegan for this long and blah, 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 and all this stuff. But it actually felt like out of all the places in the world for me to eat my first meat in a really long time, it would be what I still consider the motherland,
Yeah.
of where my roots are. Is that, okay, this is where I would want to eat a fish from. It'd be freaking Africa.
But when you guys picked like the vegan journey, is it because vegetarian is different, right?
Yeah.
Vegetarian, you eat egg, dairy, and cheese. And vegans
Wait, so you don't even
those.
eat eggs?
No.
Oh shit!
Or cheese.
Or cheese, or
shit.
cow milk, or
I would die.
yogurt, none of those things.
So you definitely have to have your nutrition on
We
point.
would go to the market, no
You-
mushrooms, no tofu, no other form
Oh.
of protein. And that's
Wait,
what we were learning.
Which part of coast were
We
you
were in Watamu, and then we went to Kalifi.
Oh yeah, there you don't have those options.
So it was like we just didn't
You don't
have the
those
options. And you can go into like the white-owned
yeah.
grocery store
Oh,
in
yeah.
Watamu and
Oh, yeah.
spend $2,000 on
Oh, yeah.
some mushrooms, and
Oh,
you're
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I'm not about to do that.
Yeah,
that
that's
don't make
crazy.
sense. So it was like having no nutrients or figuring out, okay, I have to adapt to my
With that hot
surroundings right
weather?
now.
Bro.
We were
Yeah.
It was
struggling.
horrible.
In Watamu,
Yeah,
electricity goes out every day.
it does.
It stays out for at least, if you're not staying in these fancy resorts that have generators,
Oh yeah.
you are out of electricity for at
Yeah.
least an hour every single day. So no fan,
And it would be at nighttime too.
hot as hell. We were struggling. Okay.
But it's beautiful, right?
It was.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, hold on.
Yeah,
That silence. No.
it
You don't
was.
have to say
It was gorgeous.
I don't own Watamu.
No,
It's
no,
not
no.
like
In
if
the
you say
sky,
anything against
The
it.
stars, you can see
Ah, yeah, that was awesome.
every star in the sky
That's at
on the
night.
coast. It was amazing.
That's at night.
But during the day, the beaches are beautiful.
That's just like me closing my eyes and saying like, oh my God, this apartment is so beautiful.
I mean, because we
Crazy.
were also staying with the locals. We weren't staying in resorts. We didn't stay in a
No,
resort. We never
but
stayed.
the beaches are
But the
there.
beaches are gorgeous.
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
talking about,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. They were
That's what
beautiful.
I'm talking about, yeah.
Yeah, they were
Yeah,
beautiful.
we had a good
Yeah, we had a
time,
good
like-
time there. We went to a festival.
Kaleidoscope.
Yeah.
I think I saw like, wait.
that was
That's
super
Was that
random,
at
too.
Leech House?
Yes.
Oh, Leech House is beautiful though.
Yeah, that
Right?
was
Yeah.
that was super random. That happened prior to me coming to the country. We like festivals. He usually DJs at these festivals as well, in like Thailand and stuff. And so I just looked up festivals in Kenya on Instagram, like before we came, and see what was going to be happening during that time. And I
Yeah.
found Kaleidoscope's Instagram. I messaged them and I was like, "Yo, I'm a yoga teacher with the jack of all trades. I can do a lot of things. Like, is it possible for me to maybe host a workshop there?" Mind you, these people have never met me. So someone responds back to me and they're like, "Hey, email this woman. She's the head of wellness at the festival, blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "Cool." So she gives me her email. I send her an email. I don't get a response back till maybe like a month later or something. And she's like, "Hey, like, here's another lady to email, blah, blah, blah." So we get on this email and eventually we start talking and she's like, "Yeah, like, what do you want to do?" We're talking about, mind you, she still never met me. She has no idea what my Instagram account is. This lady does not know if I am just a crazy person,
Yeah.
but just trust the vibes from email. And we eventually came here. And that's why we went to Watamu, was because during the time
festival.
that the
Oh, it's
festival
something
was
that
going
you
to
had
be there.
already.
So
someone
I
you
knew
talked
that I
to
was
about.
going. And we went
And
there.
we got free
And we got
tickets.
free tickets. Because
Oh,
even though,
that's
there's a
dope.
story. How the boater driver treated you that day.
Oh,
Because
man.
again,
Oh, what?
this is that weekend, right?
Yeah.
Tons of white people. I mean, there's also,
Of course,
to be
of
fair,
course.
there was people from Nigeria. There was people from all over the
Yeah.
continent that were coming for this
But we
festival.
know how specific places are always are,
And festivals.
even like just with them, actually, it's just even the locals. That's what they want. They
Yeah.
just want white people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anytime
So-
they see someone like they're like, I won't get any money now.
Yeah.
I won't get any tips.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
when we went to this festival, it was like, again, we went for free. Again, people just don't realize like, oh, you got money, you went to the festival, blah, blah, blah. No, we went for free. I was working.
Because you already like
Yeah, 'cause I
negotiated
was-
something in return.
Because I was teaching 2 workshops, and that was
Yeah.
how I got paid. Was that
Yeah.
they gave us the tickets for free,
That's
and I
good.
taught a
Yeah.
workshop both of the days of the festival.
Yeah.
But then the last night, or the second to last night that we were
No, the
leaving,
last night.
the last night that we were leaving, there's a bunch of, you go outside and there's just tons of boater drivers, and they're just waiting to pick up somebody.
Oh yeah. And so we're coming out and there's a swarm of them. There's like literally like 30 of them just waiting.
Just chilling and
so-
looking, yeah.
So we're walking or whatever, and they start like, saying brother this, brother that.
100, 200.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I go, whoever got the cheapest price,
Yeah, we go. Let's go.
bro, like 10 of them started coming our way.
Yeah.
And,
Running.
and anyway, out of that group, there was one that he was just quiet. He was chill. He set the price one time, and I was like, okay, cool.
Let's go with you.
So we're going with him. And as we're going with him, there's like 3 or 4 other guys still trying to get us to go with them.
And
Grabbing
we're
my hand.
ready,
Oh,
like,
you're
yeah.
so beautiful. Mind you, I'm walking with this man. Like, literally about to get on the bike with him, too. Like, when I went away over here, like, kissing my hand goodbye, I'm like, what the hell? But anyway, continue.
And
It was
so
so overwhelming.
Yeah, so they're still trying
Yeah.
to.
they still try. And one of the guys, he's like talking to me. And usually, bro, like I'm not this is something that I noticed it was a mistake for me to do, was to actually speak to the people even after I rejected them. Because I see you. You know what I mean? Like I see you. Even if like I can't give you anything, I see you. I'm gonna listen to you.
Yeah.
So this guy is like talking to me, blah blah, blah, and he's like, "Yo, let's take 2 bikes." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm going with this guy."
Yeah, one is enough.
And he goes something like, "Oh yeah, we need some tips. You guys come here, And I'm like, and jokingly, I'm like, "Nah, I need a tip, bro." I'm like, I need a tip. So we get on the bike, and he says, "Oh, you guys come here and you don't support all this and that and the third." And I looked at him and I was like, what do you mean, bro? And like, I am supporting. And he goes, "Okay, bro, can you give me a tip?" And I look at him,
What for?
What did you do?
bro.
What for?
I was just shocked. I'm looking at this man like, what do you?
I mean,
You walked behind me and harassed us for
Yeah.
the last 3 minutes. I was
Give
like,
me a
"Did
tip
you
for
hear
that. For that. No, but that's also like just a coast thing as well. And like I said, like maybe I don't know how I can describe it. In coast they have this thing, and I mean, for me, like even if it's in the comment section, I don't really care however they react to this, because I'm good. I'm not the one who's working there, because they have this. Is it called like a superiority complex thing going on? So that any person that they see that's black, because they won't force a white person to give them a tip like that. You think they'll be so respectful.
Right.
And even most of the time, white people don't give them that much money.
Right.
Yeah.
Not that much money. If you go to clubs in general, anywhere, you'll see how black people spend their money.
Yeah.
It's all about like even just culture, traditional. People like drinking, eating and stuff.
Yeah.
White people don't spend money like that.
Right.
They'd have like a beer, a glass of wine, but they'd never be harassed about like, tips. And you can even literally just give them like, 10 shillings or 20 shillings. That person will be, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
And they always do this, coast people, yourselves. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am. But if it's me,
Yeah.
even if I tip 500,
Yeah.
that person will still be disrespectful.
Bro, and that's
But it's
exactly
a
what happened.
superiority complex thing. So it doesn't really. So what happened?
And so after
Do you
he
still
tells
give
me
him a
that-
tip?
No, I didn't give him nothing. I'm
Oh,
looking
okay.
at him like, so I get
We're
on
on
the
the bike now, leaving.
We're on the bike about to leave, and he goes, "Oh, get out of here,
Go back home.
Go back home
to
and-
your country or something like that.
Yeah.
bro." And
It's like, really?
They would
Unnecessary.
never, but they would never. That's what I'm saying. Like, and I understand where you guys are coming from, because it's kind of weird, because especially it's coming from black people.
Yeah.
Because even like, us from Nairobi, people who come from Nairobi, go to coast, we also kind of get like the same treatment. And we're not tourists.
Yeah.
Right.
So like even for my case, like I just don't speak to someone. Even if you just come and say like, yo, bro, do you want to get to the border? I just look at you and then just keep walking. I just keep, because I'm like, now how many people I'll have to do that to before I get to my destination. I'm just trying to have a good time. But most of the time it's just something that's affected them with like, even because, coast is also popular with sex tourism and stuff. So it's kind of very difficult for especially like, let's say black Americans or anybody who's black coming from a different culture to want that friendly experience, because they know you're foreign. They want the money.
Bro,
And we
honestly,
just
That's
didn't
it.
connect with anybody.
And you're just
Yes.
trying,
Thank you.
trying to,
to connect.
connect with people. And
Yeah.
that's like what we are literally all about.
Yeah.
Like we like to travel and connect to people. Because again, like we were talking about earlier, just the vibe. Like people see us and like they want to hang out and we're friendly. And we're like,
Yeah.
yes. Like you hit us up and we're like, yes.
Yeah.
Like let's go hang out
I
with
was
him.
like, what?
Like,
Let's do
first
the
of all, that's
episode. I want this episode.
we were literally strangers 2 seconds ago.
Yeah.
But it's like that's the kind of energy that we give out to people, is usually good vibes. We're trying to chill, we're trying to learn, we're trying to just talk and share what we know, share our experiences, hear your experience. But it was like there was no interaction that we had on the coast that wasn't transactional.
No,
Zero.
it's just about
Everybody
money.
wants to give you something or get you something, and it was like, can
They
you just
sell
tell
you
me your
bracelets
story?
and stuff. They didn't give you the bracelets and stuff.
Well, I ain't
They
buying.
Are those
tried.
from coast?
No.
These
No,
are,
your neck?
we
No?
own, these are all ours already. So they try to
So they
sell
was
us
like,
things,
yo,
and
they
we're
just
like, we
put
don't
you-
need. We
Yeah.
already have too many things.
Which that now relates to that story about me being called white.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So tell that story, because,
Bro,
yeah.
Bro, so
I
we're
just make sure. Okay, still have time.
We're
Okay, go on with the story.
We're
We're
at-
listening, but let me just check a memory card. I'm
Alright,
just
go
here.
ahead. So we're at the beach or whatever, and we're about to head back home, or to the place where we're staying, and we're packing our stuff. We're getting ready, and I see this man just walking from behind me. Like I can see him, and you know when somebody's coming here to approach you to sell
To
you some
you.
shit. So purposely, I'm looking at the water. He's coming from the entrance. And I'm looking at the water, and I'm just looking around. I know that the man is gonna come to me. And guess what? He arrives, and I turn around, and he's like, "Yo, brother, do you want to support my business?" And I turn around, and I'm like, "Hi." I say to him,
Support black businesses. Yo, that's what's up.
literally that. So I turn around, and I'm like, "Yo, with the best attitude possible," because again,
Yeah. Bro, I can't.
even if I'm gonna reject somebody, I'm gonna do it in a kind way, you know. And I'm like, "Thank you, but I don't want no water or whatever. Like I'm good." And he was selling us a coconut, and he said it was like 100 shillings, which I was shocked that I was like, wow, it's that cheap.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
Should be cheaper though.
Well, exactly. My point, bro. So
I'll take you like even to a supermarket, like selling them like for less than 100. So I mean,
that's crazy. Anyway, it's really cheap, but regardless, I don't want no coconut. So I'm like,
We're not thirsty.
yeah. I mean, I'm just chilling. I'm just trying to relax. You know?
and pack the shit so we can go. So, but so for some reason, I was like, hey, just a quick question: why did you come to me to sell me this coconut specifically when there was a lot of people on the beach that day? And he turns around and he goes, "'Cause you're white." Bro. And I'm looking back.
You're crazy.
And when I heard that, I was like, I'm not walking over there. Because I already know it's about to not be good.
Bro, so my reaction, I felt so disrespected.
Yeah.
Because, first of all, I'm not white.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I have never in my life, you know,
nobody has called you
in my
white
31
before.
years of age, bro.
Nobody has called you
Nobody
white.
has ever mentioned anything like that to me, you know? So I'm looking at this man like, and I remember feeling the anger and the energy coming up, and I'm like, okay, I'm trying to like control it because this man is actually like friendly. He's cool. And I'm like, you know what, brother? Let me tell you something. And I'm like, just because I am lighter skin does not mean, one, that I'm white, or two, that I'm like the white people that you see over there. I'm like, I come from the islands.
Yeah.
Literally. I come from islands where I look exactly like this man. You know what I mean? He was only a little bit darker than I am, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm having to explain to him like, hey, this is not okay. Just because I look a little lighter does not mean that I'm automatically rich and that I have money and all of this stuff. Yeah, we live in a different reality.
Yeah.
I have different privileges, but still, I don't have the money to just give to everyone.
No, why people don't give out money like that? Why, I don't know where this notion comes from, but they just don't.
Bro.
They just believe white is better. Let's just put it that way.
And that is
But
something
no white person is just giving you like money.
just walking around throwing it out.
No.
Bro, that's
No,
not the
and then
case.
fast forward to
No.
5 seconds later to the
Anyway,
next
so
guy.
the man leaves or whatever, and after, I share what I had to share with him, and he understood. He was like, cool, we're leaving the beach, and we're discussing this, because I'm still shocked, like, yo.
Yeah,
bro,
just call me
Just
white.
call me white.
I'm
Just call me
processing
white.
this shit,
Yeah.
Bro, I see this man get up from his little hut.
He was chilling,
He was chilling, and he saw us, and he starts
booking it.
grabbing his shit and
Bracelets,
running,
necklaces.
like running towards us. And I'm already like, bro, I'm
Yeah.
already
He
like,
already hot, you know.
and I'm telling
Like,
him,
yo, I've had enough.
And I
Like,
would have
enough
warned
is
this
enough.
man. I'm like,
Yeah.
man,
bro,
it's
and
not
from
gonna be
afar,
good.
I'm already
Not
telling
now,
him, I'm
not
telling
now.
him, no, from afar, like, yo, bro, no, we're good.
Yeah.
We
We're
don't
good,
want
we're good,
anything.
we're good.
And he gets right next to me, and he's selling me stuff, and I'm like, yo, brother, I'm
Today,
good. I don't want anything. Like, I just don't want to buy
And
anything.
you know how they don't respect personal space? They're always like, right
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 there.
over here.
You're speaking boundary of saying no 3 times, and it's still
It's
being
just over here. It's like, bro.
And I'm like, yo, he's like, oh yeah, but like buy these bracelets or whatever. I'm like, and I tell him, I just don't need anything. I don't want to buy anything. And he goes, oh, so you come to the beach and
Beach is free.
and the beach is kind of is free and you don't buy anything, bro. And
But that's why you don't need stock to anyone. You know that. You can just choose not to. If I was to give you like the biggest tip, like when you're in coast area, if somebody is just talking to you, you don't have to talk back.
right,
Because they're selling. They're selling.
Right.
It's like if let's say you're in the Bronx, that's where you said you grew up,
Yeah.
right? I'm sure you'd find people who are selling drugs like on the side, right? Like,
Yeah,
yo,
for
bro,
sure.
do you need something? Do you talk back to them or do you just keep walking?
when you tell somebody no there,
Yeah.
it usually means no.
it's no,
Yeah.
it's
because if
very
you say
simple.
something else, somebody gonna punch you in your
Or maybe,
face.
or maybe the guy trying to haggle you to get another bike, and he's kissing your hand. Like, you're so beautiful.
Got an attitude, but then trying to kiss my hand to say
yeah.
goodbye.
Exactly.
What?
So that's what I'm just saying. You don't really have to talk to
Well,
somebody.
I do know this.
And I think also like you just have like just that energy that's welcoming.
Yeah.
even if it's not welcoming. And when they see that, they'll just run towards you. It doesn't matter. You'll say no, the next one will
And
still
I've
come.
seen that, and I think that's the hardest thing for me is to literally block people. Like it's hard for me to just like walk around and just like ignore.
Hey, then
Ignore shit.
Then you have to support those black businesses.
Nah, but-
now you have to. Now you don't have a choice.
I mean, I guess it is true. I guess it is true. I have no
I
choice.
swear.
But
Because
this
it
man-
won't stop, though. It won't stop.
But that's why I
And
think
then-
that we choose to, like, and then by nature as well, we're communicators, we're educators, we're people that go out of our way. So I'm like, if you're gonna force upon me that you won't listen to my no, then I'm gonna force upon you this lesson real quick, and that not to treat people just because of what they look like. You have no idea. Like we already said, the Kenyan TikTok, sensitive, sensitive,
Man.
and. In the comments, just going off, and a lot of the comments that I respond back to, I don't even go into much detail. I just say that's an assumption, or I tell you the fact that's true. Because a lot of times it's just that people, again, are living in their own realities, living in their own bubbles, in their own worlds, and I can meet you at your bubble. But most people, that's a skill that I've learned over time. It's not something that they're teaching us in school, how to meet people where they are and then be able to communicate from that space. People are just going to come from where they are and just be all up in your space, and say, oh, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. And I would just feel like that's why we want to share more and we want to post more. We want to share more because it's like our perspectives. People need to know other perspectives. You need to know that there's black people that are maybe from the U.S., but they don't live there. And they live in a country cheaper than your country.
Yeah.
And that country also might be considered a third world country or whatever. But our experiences are so different, but they're also valid. And instead of just assuming things when you meet somebody, that you can actually just start a conversation, like even coming up to you and being like, oh, you want to buy this? How are you today? I would rather hear these people's stories on how they ended up selling these things than before them trying to sell me
tell you
something.
that.
Exactly.
They don't
And
have
it's like,
time
that's
for that.
sad.
Until they see a white man with a camera. Oh, they're doing that documentary.
Oh, they love that. Okay,
I've
good
been
to
doing this
know.
for 20 years.
And then they want to tip after that too.
They won't even ask for a tip. No, if it's a white person, it's going to be in BBC, CNN. It's okay. They'll even help carry the camera gear to the, to the cars and stuff. It's just that black and white thing where like, okay, and they have like also a lot, that white savior thing. What is it called? Because you also have like local girls who, of course, if you know about sex tourism in Kenya, you do.
They got
Have
it in
you done
Thailand.
research?
Thailand's like number one
in
in the world.
top
probably.
10 in the world. We're
It's-
also in
yeah.
top 10. So it's almost like the same thing as well. Because like you have even like maybe people who are in a relationship and they send their girlfriends out to meet old white people so that even if they fly out, they can send upkeep money. So I think it's almost like the same thing like even in Thailand and where people are married, but you send your wife or girlfriend to go and get the dollars and actually now sustain you. So it's the same thing because they're looking at it like, even if it's not our daughter or even if it's a boy, because like others prefer like, young boys as well. Because it's just like a weird place. It's not Nairobi though. Because we also have like now tourists who come and their main intention is like targeting underage, girls and boys. So by the time somebody grows up to like maybe 20, what they've gone through the coast region is completely different. And how they view you as a black person, how they view white person. Because if a white person marries like the sister, she goes to Australia, to the States, to the UK, and she can be able to change our life.
Yeah, for sure.
And if some people are living like probably as a family, let's say below $3 in a day, somewhere like in just the local places, that's huge to them. So I also wouldn't, I don't want to say I don't blame them because education is there. They're on TikTok.
Yeah.
You can learn. Yeah,
Which, by the way,
there's no
honestly,
excuse for that.
And hold on, I want to take this time seriously for the people on the TikTok.
Yeah, let's talk
Seriously.
TikTok.
'Cause, yo, TikTok.
Do we do a TikTok
Bro,
segment, right?
Some of the Kenyans on TikTok are some of the most sensitive people I've ever seen or experienced in my life. And I mean that with no type of disrespect at all.
Yeah.
But like the amount of comments that we received from our experience that were like, that's just the coast. What do you expect? Or like, no, these things shouldn't be the norm.
Yeah, it
I
shouldn't.
shouldn't. The coast isn't just tourism.
Yeah.
I understand that it has been built in that way,
Colonized.
but it shouldn't be. It's not the only thing.
It's Kenya.
It's Kenya.
still
It's
your
a part of the
country.
It's Kenya, yeah.
Yeah.
So you telling me that like, so you don't have 100 shillings to just buy the coconut?
No, I have, because for me, if you ask me that, it's like, I have it.
Yes.
But I'm not going to buy that
But I don't-
coconut.
if
I'm
I-
not buying
If
it.
I don't want to buy something, I
Yeah.
have the right.
Yeah, you
to
don't
not
be
buy
pressured
that.
to buy just because yes, I do have 100 shillings, but
So
just
people
for something
telling me,
else.
people saying things like that, or like, you have to go with a Kenyan friend. Yo, just that alone, that shouldn't be the norm.
Shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be okay for me to just come to this country and not just be a regular human,
Yeah.
which is something that I was going back and forth with in the comments with people. Is that, I just want to feel like a regular human being walking around. I don't want to feel like I am an ATM.
And
Yeah.
someone said, what did they say about, why should they care about how you feel and your insecurities about? And I was like,
What insecurities?
what insecurity? Me
What do you
wanting to
mean?
be human and care, like, why are you expressing your insecurities on the internet then, or how you feel about it on the internet if
Well,
you
hold on.
want to be human?
What's-
You
what's-
should see my
What was the
comments.
comment about? Because I know, like, I didn't even want to go through like all the
It was
comments
bad. Yeah.
because I didn't want to base like the conversation around those
that,
comments because
yeah.
now that's just giving light to
Yeah.
the wrong people.
For sure.
I just wanted to know
Yeah.
you guys. But just what are craziest comments that you actually just saw and you're like, what? And the worst part about TikTok when somebody's saying that, they have their profile open. They want you
Yes.
to see them. You can actually go to their profile.
go
It's
see
like,
everything they're
This is
doing.
an actual human being. It's just like nobody hiding. They don't care.
Yeah.
At all.
So what are the craziest like maybe comments that just shocked you and you're like, why
Well,
would
first
somebody
of all-
ask me this?
First of all, which
Yeah.
this one was the craziest one. It's not the simplest one, but to me, this guy
Yeah.
telling me, leave us alone and go home. First of all, my guy, you are not immigration. You are not immigration.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just put that out.
That's true. That's true.
First of all, and I got 2 passports, bro. I can stay here as long as I want to. Truly, you cannot tell me go home because you do not represent the majority of this country. I just want to put that out there, bro, because that's the one that really I'm looking
Oh,
at
is
this
that
man.
you pinned that one? Like I think on a video
Yeah, I
that you
think you
did,
made
right?
it,
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I'm literally like, wow.
But you shouldn't take. I wouldn't take like at this point. I don't take anybody who says anything
Yeah.
negative on TikTok. I'll see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel bad, but I won't give light to it because I'm just like now, come on.
Yeah.
Because there's some people who are just a bit ridiculous.
The only ones I had responded to based off of, because the first video, again, this was my first viral video. I mean, it's still like under 30K, but that was way more than I've ever gotten in my
Yeah.
life. So, and it was the
Because
one
Kenyans
about
do
the,
like once your video is pushed on the For You page, you're getting those reactions.
yeah, they've been coming. So
Yeah.
it was the one about being happy about seeing people that looked like me on the advertisements.
billboards, yeah,
and
yeah.
I thought it was a positive video, which it was. in
It
general.
was.
But my
It was.
comments,
Yeah.
they were just like, girl, like, what did you expect? You came to Kenya. What is supposed to be on the advertisement? And I'm like, have you literally been anywhere else in the world?
Oh shit.
But then I realized that again, people hadn't.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
you haven't been to America. I was learning through my
Yeah.
comments as well. I was like,
Yeah.
y'all don't even consider yourself black.
Nope.
Until you leave the country. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I had to grow up being black.
Yeah.
I had to grow up being a minority. That don't exist in this country. Y'all all Kenyan. Like, I mean, to an extent, but you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it was like I grew up, people
Yeah.
telling me, you are the minority.
Yeah.
You are black. You are different. You are beneath. You are this. My whole life. So coming here, that was inspiring and motivating. And to see my comments with Kenyan people.
But that's why, in
I'm
fact,
like-
I'll even just give you like sorry to just cut you
no.
off, but let me just put it like into context. And that's why like I'm always telling like even like a lot of my friends, even like how you pronounce your words at times, people laugh at each other because maybe somebody from a different tribe like talks differently. But I'm always like, you can do that now, but until you take a plane and travel, go to a country where people are looking at you weird.
Yeah.
Land in Italy. Land in like, just Barcelona, where people can actually see that you're actually a black person. You're a nigger.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
Period.
And they can show it to you with your eyes, or you just stand next to people and they move to the side.
Yeah.
And once you come back home, all that ignorance and everything, like you just start calling people, you will start respect and appreciating your own people. Because once you're out there, people will let you know
You're in
you
a
do
bubble.
not belong here.
You're in a bubble. I'm
Yeah.
realizing, like from my comments, I'm like, wow, y'all are in this beautiful brown bubble.
Yep.
And you don't realize how people outside that look like you are treated, that when you go back to America, like you said, you will be a nigga like me.
Yes.
They're not going to say, oh, you're Kenyan, you're this, you're that. No, they group us all together.
Yeah.
All of
You're
us
all
that
niggas.
look completely
You're all black
different
people.
are all going to be the same person
You're
in
all
America.
thieves. You're all,
And
you all the stereotypes that they pick.
Yep.
They'll fit you in that box,
Yep.
and that's how you'll be treated.
That.
So, I
And-
mean, that's just from people who haven't like really been exposed to a lot. And that's why they would react that way. But if you've been out there and you were treated like a minority, you had like a bad experience, maybe in a restaurant, somebody gave you a side eye or something, come on.
And that was the point that you made about the coast, and like our relationship to white people as African Americans is so drastically different as well. I've realized
Completely
from
different.
Africans,
Completely
because
different.
we
in
in America we like
because you have people
you
who've
got
lost
a few white
people
friends.
people who've lost like lives.
Lives.
Like your brother is taken away from you, your mother, your dad
By
goes to
these
work,
people.
does not come back. So
Yesterday.
it's completely different.
Not years ago when colonization happened. Today,
And
this
it keeps
is happening
happening. It's still
regularly.
happening,
Karens are calling cops on people, and little children are being shot and killed right now in America because of their skin color.
Yeah.
So I know that that's not your experience, and the cops ain't out here shooting y'all.
Yeah.
But in America, that is happening to us. So when we come here, and you're like treating white people better than us, or all of these things. It's like, dang, that's when I look at it. I'm like, dang. In America, we call that like, there's a negative, we have lots of negative terms for us, but they call it like house niggas.
Oh, yeah.
Because back in the day, like usually
that
the
was the
light-skinned
special
people
nigga who used to be in the,
used to
in the house.
snitch.
Yeah.
And they would be the snitch. They'd be the ones cuddling up to the masters and telling them the stuff that's happening
They
with
can
the
have
slaves.
tea with the master, and then they can just like
And
snitch
here-
on everybody else.
And here it's like all in
Wait, here they're handing them
yeah.
their
land.
own
Oh, yeah.
land.
Land.
Their
Oh, yeah.
Like here.
Y'all,
Okay.
the coast.
Oh yeah. I know.
And I had discussions with the boda drivers about this exact fact. I was like, what do you guys feel about the foreigners owning so much land in the country? Oh, it's great. The tourism.
Yeah.
And I was like,
But you see, now even that's the thing, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not even
So
because
sad.
people they've gone to school there, so it's not a thing about like not being educated.
Yeah.
Like, where else in this world can you go and just buy land as a foreigner? It doesn't matter whether you're black or white, but you're from a different country and just buy and settle there. You can't.
You can't.
No, it's
even
hard.
start a business
In Thailand?
like just opening like a
Cannot.
shack. Can you even just open like a shack and start even
50%.
selling like jewelry and stuff?
the owner of the Thai
Exactly.
business has to be 51%
Yep.
Thai.
Yep.
51% Thai.
So in Kenya,
So
I
that-
mean, it's
Because they want money now.
Yeah.
And it's like, I feel like that's some education that might be lacking, is that the financial literacy or just like the future thinking of that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you get 10 million shillings right now, but that Italian that just bought your mom's property
True.
is about to get 10 million every month
yeah.
from hosting their
So it's
resort
like it's like
or whatever on their
what's-
property.
What's the name? I've forgotten the name.
Calling it gentrification.
No. They have like a black tax thing where like because people were treated badly. And then now you're being
Reparations?
Reparations.
yes.
It's like the opposite.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm looking at y'all like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
Yeah.
Stop selling this land to these people.
But you see,
But-
if the government approves it, because there is nowhere like can you buy land in Thailand?
You can.
You can,
But
but it has
again,
to
it
be-
has to be.
Oh, 50%.
yeah.
Like,
And you can get
okay.
lawyers that can do like 2 Thai people own 25, 25. But a Thai person is
okay,
always
okay.
going to own.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then you pay
Majority, yeah.
taxes for like 100 years. So it's like,
okay.
you can own it, but it's always going to be within the country's.
I have some white friends in the city, so I'll ask them how, like, because at times, like, and I think also, like, if you have like a nice group of diverse friends, at times you just talk, and at times, like, because it's normal, but
Yeah.
once you go to a different like demography, people look at people different. Because now we have Somalis in Kenya, I have Somali friends. We have Arabs in Kenya, Indians. I have all those friends as well. I have white friends, Korean friends. But you'll notice, like, once you get out of, like, that circle, now you have to deal, like, with your locals, like, people, like, who you grew up with and everything. But nobody will have the same opinion on someone who looks different, especially if they haven't interacted with them.
Right.
But if you're in Kenya, and somebody is like your friend, they also talk to you differently.
Yeah.
They understand where you're coming from. We can joke about things, but there's some jokes I can't throw around some certain people, man. Because I have Somali friends, I can make some certain jokes with them. There's somewhere I cannot make that joke. Come
Yeah.
on.
Right.
Hey, I mean, that just be the last thing that would come to my mind. But like we've just said, like it's very weird, especially when someone who looks like you makes you feel like that.
Yeah.
Because it's very unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Because
It's
you're
really
black
sad.
people.
Yeah.
You're black
really
people.
sad, bro.
And you literally in the comment section, you're battling.
People that look like me.
Yeah. When in the States, it would be like
White
Karen,
people.
white people,
We
and
had
black
one.
people.
We had
Man,
one in the
you do?
messages.
There was one white girl in
Everybody
there.
was arguing with her, to be fair, but she
Where?
was a
Where?
Canadian, French
From
Canadian
from
girl.
a Kenyan post.
From that post, she was not
Okay.
welcomed at all in this post.
Uh-huh.
Being a Canadian French girl, I don't know why you thought you needed to comment in the first place.
What was that comment?
She was
It was
saying
very
something.
disrespectful. She
Like-
was she was doing it on purpose. I feel like at some
Yeah.
point she was just like, "We're gonna treat you the same way. You expect people to have." The one that made me mad was that she was like, "It's crazy going to a country and basically that we go to foreign countries." White countries is what she called them, and expect diversity in advertisements. But then we go to Africa and then they don't have diversity. They don't have white people on billboards.
Well, where does... Okay,
I said,
come
girl,
on. First of all,
sir,
like,
it just didn't make sense at all.
No,
okay?
that's just like...
Everybody
that's-
in the comments
you
said
ha-
She
that.
you
had
have to
time.
be a-
She had
yeah,
time
she
that
had
day
to be a
because
troll,
she
'cause-
kept going for hours.
Oh, like...
with
but-
everybody back and forth, just putting out just not slurs, but like
But that
just
wouldn't
disrespect to
but
people.
it wouldn't apply anywhere to put a white person in a Kenyan building.
It makes no sense.
It just...
But
for
that's what she
you-
kept saying was that, oh, America's a white country, so why would we put black people in the screen? Girl,
I mean, yeah, that's...
There was
that's-
many times I
that's-
wanted to go through the phone and
that's
just-
but also, you also have to understand, like, even the black thing, at times where it doesn't make any sense, because the most influential people and just culturally that affect, like, most parts of the world is America, black American
Right.
culture.
literally
Comes from music,
fashion,
fashion,
artwork,
Literally
everything.
everything that you can think
We're
of.
the,
Like,
Slang.
bro, we're
the
literally the
words.
creators of
Yeah.
everything.
it's tied into a black person somehow. Even if you go back to inventions, that things that were invented and everything, it's still attached to black people somehow. So like I would never understand, but I think it's just getting exposed to different things why it puts your mind in a very different level. Maybe because I'm even now at times I even try and just think, was I like that stupid when I was slightly younger, or maybe, and I kind of have to just take myself back. Like,
We all were.
like maybe I was just that dumb by the way, because at times when people talk and you're just like, what?
You don't learn world history is what I also learned
Yeah.
in general in the world, every country. In America, when we're young, everybody was Chinese that was Asian.
Oh yeah,
Everybody
yeah,
that's Latin is
true.
Mexican.
Yeah.
So it was like when I went to Asia and now I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
I've been there 6 years. I can point, I know if somebody's Korean, Vietnamese, Japanese. I can tell by the
Philippines,
features of their face, by
everything.
how they speak. Immediately in America, they will still call somebody Chinese.
But it will also
they
change
still
your
call people
mindset, though, right?
African in America.
Oh yeah, true.
There's no Kenya, no Nigeria.
No, yeah.
African.
It's all Africans. It's all
Legit.
It's
African.
African, Chinese, and Mexican, which two
shit.
countries in one continent.
Yeah.
People are so ignorant in that way. So I'm like, if I know that my own people are like that, and when I was younger, absolutely, I didn't know any better either. We don't
I think
learn
so.
these
I
things,
thi-
but as we become adults, with all this access to freaking Google and
Especially
TikTok,
internet, and that's what I'm saying. Like now, there's no excuse because
reason
we
to be
have like
ignorant.
you can just type anything on TikTok. You'll be educated about it. Like how, like let's say you're planning to travel, and you'll just want to know like the best cities to travel in this country, the least racist district or province or place I can go and visit and have a good experience. The most racist place I should avoid when I'm going to a certain country. So all those things, like you can
Exist.
they exist. The information is there. Just pure ignorance if you don't want to. But it's unfortunate that that has happened to you guys. But just understand, like Kenya is a very, very beautiful place.
Also,
those are just a few people who
Yeah.
would want to make you feel like.
We also
We've
wanna,
had some beautiful
We want to
experience.
point that out that like this experience for us.
oh
has-
shit! I need to get on now.
Yeah,
Let me-
go
but
ahead. Go ahead.
talk about the good experience.
So-
Just keep rolling.
Yeah, we just want to put this out there. It has not been all bad here. Like we feel so proud to have made it to this country, to be the first country that we visit in Africa. Like for us, that is huge. I am the first person in my family to make it all the way to Africa. She's same for her. So for us, it's like the moment we arrived here, we were like, yo, this is fucking amazing. We're like, this is so good. And we have met
We are
awesome
making
people.
history.
Like we've had some really good experiences here.
we literally made history, like for our ancestors, for our
Legit.
generation, for our lineage. We are coming back to the place that we were taken from. you know? And that's just wild. Like, I don't even, again, like I keep telling him this, like this trip, we have not fully even been able to process. Like, it's going to take a few months.
Okay, so let me just switch the memory card, and then we can at least now wind up with like another 30 minutes, probably.
Yeah, sure.
You know, we've already done like an hour, 30 minutes already. Yes. So let's do another 30 minutes.
Let's do it.
Because the comments, you see, such a white thing to do. He's just typing when people trying to have a conversation, a serious conversation about the motherland.
Nah, so somebody's like, you know when you know something and somebody's trying to like tell you something else? It's like this guy just asked on this like Thai.
First of all, you know we're already rolling, right?
Oh.
we can no, we can go back there. Just in case you overshare something you're not supposed to share.
No. It's about this guy just posted and asked in a visa group in Thailand, like, I want to get a new passport. He was saying that it takes like 45 days or something. And I'm like, no, it takes 14 like 10 to 14 days or whatever. And he's like, no, it takes and I'm like, no.
But I know.
Like,
I know what I'm telling you. Yeah. I just
Bro, you know the amount of passports I've gotten since I've been in Thailand? Like at least 4. Literally. For multiple reasons, but
we don't need to get to that. We don't need to get to that. Okay, so now, wait, where were we?
Talking about just like
positive experiences.
Positive experiences that you've had, like even just now in
so
Kenya, we can say that.
My friend Bevan from university, we studied together, and she's Kenyan.
Yeah.
But she lives in the States, and she's the one that recommended. She put us in connection with her cousin, Dowdy. He owns a streetwear brand called Metamorphosis. Metamorphosis or Metamorphosized? Metamorphosized. And I don't know if you know.
Just go on.
What's it called? There's like an art space in Kilimani. And they have like a collective of artists that all are like working out of this one space called Studio 18. And so the other one, Nairobi Apparel District.
Yeah.
Is the other guys. Yeah. So there's a bunch of them that are basically in the streetwear and like scene in Nairobi. And we went to go hang out with them and meet them just randomly. She was like, you should go meet my cousin. She connected us. We met him. He introduced us to a lot of his friends, and we got to go to some different events that were hosted by different like artists here and fashion and like people in the fashion industry here. And that was super.
That was the coolest thing
That
ever.
was so cool.
You see, nobody asked you for money. Did anybody ask you? Did anybody try to sell you anything?
Not at all.
Exactly.
Everyone was so friendly, so kind.
Yeah.
We actually made friends. We're hanging out with some of them this weekend.
Yeah.
And like they were just really cool and just really trying to like also change Kenya, change Nairobi, show that streetwear can be popular here and that like they're just some of the most creative people we saw. When we went into this party, I was just like, wow, everybody fly. Everybody's just like, we're like, okay, these are the people. These are our people. So when we were on the coast, we were like, we just wanted to go back. Because, okay, where did we feel the most comfortable? One, Nairobi's not hot. 2, it was the fact that we actually connected with people while we were here. We actually had good conversations with people, got to know people and their story while we were here. And we were like, we want to go back to Nairobi and just go hang out with those people again. If we're only going to be in Kenya this long, that's who we want to be, kicking it with for the last couple of weeks.
Another thing that, again, this is fueling the tourism in this country, but a dream come true, the safari.
Oh, wow.
Have you done it?
Yes.
The one in Nairobi.
We did hear the one in Nairobi.
The national park?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Bro.
Nice.
Wow.
How was it?
Again, this is tourism, but the 7 to 10-year-old in me could not believe what was happening.
Really?
We were overwhelmed.
I think it's
like
crazy because
giddy.
at times we just don't even think about it because I live 5 minutes from there.
Bro. So I've never...
You've never experienced that, right?
Bro,
Every animal we've seen has been in a cage.
Yeah. Oh,
Hence the
yeah.
reason maybe we was vegan. It's sad. You see animals and it's always horrible.
Yeah, true.
But
true.
to see rhinos,
Lions. We saw lions.
bro, just to see them just out there frolicking and shit, hanging out.
Baboons.
Baboons.
I think for me, this is like the peak of existence. I'm like, wow, I'm so grateful that I got to experience that and that we have these memories.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these animals are not going to be here in, I don't know, 15, 20 years, 30 years, And I got the opportunity to experience that in a car. You know what I mean? Even though I don't agree with the way that these safaris are
necessarily
ran. Yeah, like I think it's fucking crazy.
Or the cars like following the animals and stuff.
Yeah,
Bro,
they're like
but-
hitting people, like hitting each other up constantly.
And you got like 20 cars.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like 20. Okay.
And the other one, the
that is crazy.
Masamara, I don't know. I felt so uncomfortable about that one too.
Which one?
That one's the most popular one, the Masamara. I don't know if I'm
Masamara.
Oh,
saying
would they
Masamara.
have like lots of vans?
But there's also like the people there are also like a tourist attraction.
Ah,
And that's
yeah,
really
yeah.
weird to me too, because I've also talked to some Kenyans like that's not even the real village, you know, like
Yep.
in many ways. So it's also, yeah, there were certain things we were trying to find as we wanted to do it, but trying to find as sustainable as we could, you know. And
Wait, hold on. You hear that?
Oh. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, wait. I thought it was like the microphone. making
No,
that noise.
no. That's outside. That's outside. No. That's outside. That's outside. No.
but either way, it
Or-
was
yeah.
a really cool experience. Like
Just
Yeah,
seen
no.
his face. He's like, what?
Nah, 'cause
Oh, the
I'm a-
producer in you is
Yeah.
like, yo, you ruined the whole fucking video.
I'm like, it's
The whole
done.
audio is done.
But wow, that
So the
was,
safari, but I
was
think
awesome.
now for the safari experience, if you want that thing where like cars are not like just trying to chase like the animals and stuff, we have a way. If you have like your own car where you can now just drive slowly and just drive to places where you can just go park and just wait for certain animals. You just look at lions, maybe feasting, and then drive to a different place and then just chill. But if you're in the whole van, like the tourist van kind of.
Yeah.
Now there are those people, they just like, and then they have people given like, yo, we want to take pictures of these animals.
Yeah.
So they'll be constantly chasing certain, and that's why they're on walkie-talkies and stuff.
Yeah.
which is fucking crazy because I
Crazy.
remember we got there and
it was chill.
we was driving nice. It was early in the morning. It was about 6:50 or 7 in the morning. It was real chill. We got to see these rhinos as the sun is like coming up and shit.
gorgeous.
Next thing you know, my guy starts whipping the car, bro. Mind you, we don't know what the fuck is
What's
going
going
on.
on? What's
told us
going on?
nothing.
Oh, he's just driving.
He's just driving so
But we knew it
fucking
had to be
fast,
something
bro.
good
Yeah.
because wow.
And we stopped to see some giraffes, so that was fucking awesome. And then next thing you know, we drive and we see these lions walking, bro.
Yeah.
And that was the craziest fucking thing. Like,
I feel my heart just like, and they're not even like the biggest lions, or like
Yeah.
but it was like, yo, them things is powerful.
Yeah.
The way they walk, like they own the ground beneath them, but in a beautiful way, where like they just knew they were like the king of this, thing.
The craziest part about like even just with the lions and stuff, like there are neighborhoods that now on the opposite side of the national park, at times like lions do walk out and stray to residential areas.
We heard
So now
that.
they have to call like the what are they called? The guards to come and like kind of like now just take them back to
We had to
nature.
tip the guards. Do you remember?
You did?
We had to tip the guards. We didn't have to, but
they took
it
us.
What,
was
did they ask?
cool.
Did they ask?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
asked, and it was so weird. I was
Now,
like,
Straightforward.
if you ask, then that you don't deserve it.
Because I
Because if you
also
just
asked
do
them, "Why
good
you
service,
here?"
somebody's gonna like just
Yeah.
tip you.
I was like, why are you here? Because we stopped, for bathroom or something like that,
Yeah.
and they took us on like a little walk, and I was like, why you all got
A
these
nature
big
walk.
guns?
Yeah.
Which is just also odd in Kenya. The gun sizes,
Oh wait, what?
the size of the guns in the country
Yeah.
that the cops carry.
But they don't use them. though.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, wait, what? In America, it's a hand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the cops pull, shoot. I'm like, y'all gonna have to
I think
do a
for-
lot to shoot somebody.
For Kenya, if they're coming if they
like
need
to
to
scare
shoot
people.
to gun down someone, like you have to have done like something really crazy. But otherwise, like the guns are just there to like tell you like, yo, you already know what's up. If you're trying if that's what you're trying to do, like but they just don't shoot people. Like
Yeah.
that's just not a thing that they do. They
Thank
wrestle
God.
you
Yeah.
down.
Thank
You know,
God.
unlike now, you're coming from an experience where like just even trying to take out your ID
Yeah.
or
People
driving
think you have a
license
gun.
that you've already been
or mass shootings happen
yeah,
all the
yeah,
time in
yeah. So,
America.
of course, yeah.
You can
America
just go to
is
the
just
shop,
crazy with the guns. So
So that's also which the Kenyan TikTok dragged me to.
about what? What did
I
you
made
say?
a post about the SGR because I thought it was really cool because
Yeah.
we went on it, which we saw elephants on the way back because you go through Savo
Oh,
East, and
yeah,
that
yeah,
was
yeah.
incredible.
That was awesome.
So many
Yeah.
elephants on the
Yeah.
way back. But on the way there, I just said I was like, wow, the security is quite excessive. I've never had security that intense. And mind you, I come from a country where we have mass shootings.
Yeah.
We've had terrorist attacks. We have shootings all the time.
Yeah.
And they were still mad at me at that. Well, it's excessive because Somalia and because this and because that. And I was just like, yo, this is the only place that y'all got all this stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
but
what
I
you
think
mean?
it's probably either just protocol, because especially like just with the SGR, it's a project that was adapted in Kenya, but they still have to kind of pay back like the China, yeah. So I think, of course, that's like was probably mandatory part of like just like the contract and everything. Make sure everything is on point, because if we're doing this for you, you know, you have to pay us back.
Yeah.
So, you know,
which it was very efficient. That thing left on the dot.
On the dot, right?
It arrives on the dot. It was never late. No African time, no CP time. No.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, okay.
And then also people also
cool.
need to understand, like when somebody's just expressing like what they are experiencing, they're telling you their personal experience. They're not attacking you, because I didn't see any videos of you guys like attacking anyone or saying anything bad.
Never.
If it was me, I'd have a list of so many things to say, complain about and everything. But you guys just used a very nice and gentle approach. Even just you asking like, where do you get fruits here? It's a legit, genuine question, because if you're in Coast and you're walking around, any of my friends, they know I love my meals with like just greens. We literally go to the first restaurant, no greens. Second restaurant, no greens. No fruits, no greens. I understand completely what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I'm not a tourist.
Yeah.
I'm not a tourist. Come on. I'm not coming from I'm from here. And even that's something in Coast. Not unless now you go to like the big supermarkets, you can be able to have a variety where you can spoil yourself and like make yourself a salad.
Yeah.
You can't make yourself a salad in Watamu. Yeah. How?
Oh, no.
Impossible.
There was nothing.
Just coconuts,
No lettuce, no
beans, mahamri, and what else? Typically just the basic things that and they won't have like any other options for you. Also, like now another thing that I also have just to touch on, like when you guys are like just, of course you're experiencing life and doing all these things, how do you just plan for like just, I wouldn't call it retirement, but just for a future though?
We don't.
You don't? Are you the same people I was saying like about my other friends? I'm like,
yes.
So you're not using like your investment protocols that you have, like even crypto?
Well,
at least
we're
buy
getting
some
into
crypto.
it now.
We're having those conversations. We're starting to have those
No,
conversations.
you have to though, because it's gonna, like if you want to keep on, you won't have the same energy to do a lot of things as you grow older. So you have to just kind of start building it up, and compounding and everything.
This
is exactly where we're
this
at
experience
right now.
has really
Taught
put
us
a
that.
lot into perspective. Like we've learned how we want to travel. You know what things we require for our way of traveling, and one of those things that we have been discussing is like, you know, like for us to invest in our future, to continue living this lifestyle that we want to live, because all we want to do, we just want to travel. We just want to go places, experience. We want to live in these places, whether for short periods of times, because we our home will forever be in Thailand. We want to find different homes and stuff, but we want to find ways to fund our way of living, because we don't require a lot. We're like really simple people. All of our money goes to food.
Literally.
Like we
people think that because we dress this way too, is that we like have so many clothes and all this stuff, is that
all of this is
specific
like
pieces.
This is this is secondhand.
And this is all secondhand.
This is all secondhand.
It could be like, you know, some crazy designer. You know, just how those Italian clothes that like what Kanye wears, maybe.
Yeah, we're just very specific about the things that we have. Quite.
So you're okay with you're just content with what
we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
we're not really like crazy consumers. We're not out here like trying to buy, like, no, we like simple shit, you know, really simple. We want to live a simple life.
Yeah.
But
also let's say
enjoy the things that we like to enjoy.
That's good.
Like
but imagine also like you have to prepare, because, you know, when I'm talking about this, it's not just about like splashing money on anything that's extreme. But what if like maybe you have like a medical emergency, you know?
Yeah.
Those are the kind of things that wipe you out clean.
I think about these
and such things. That's why when I always talk about like finances, I'm always telling people it's not even just for me. I do that, like pay attention to that, because I know like if I have that kind of emergency, even if I did crowdfunding, I don't want to be in a position where like I can't do the basic first aid for myself.
Right.
You know, like you can't even call an ambulance to just give you the first aid that will take you to the next level before people raise money for you. You know, such things. We just prepare for the things that we just don't know if they might happen. Because, you know,
anything can happen.
anything.
sure.
Just
At
think
any
about
point.
it. Like,
Yeah.
you know, especially even when you're traveling to different places.
Yeah.
I saw you guys like in, let's say, which other country have you gone to by the
We
first
went
of
to
all?
India.
Before we came here.
How was
Before we
that?
came here, because it was the stopover. You had to stop in India before you
Was
came
that
to
why you were
Nairobi.
trying the foods and everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you
How
have
was that?
And you have
I've
to,
been there before, but
and
it
you
was
have
his
to
first
apply
time.
for a visa, even to as a transit. You have to get a visa
So
Before you
so
travel?
to come to Nairobi,
to go to
we had to
Yeah.
stop in India, and they make you like come out of the airport and check your
And
bags
check back
again
in,
on the
yeah.
flight that we took.
And then get a visa and then
But to go into the country,
You
to
need
go
a visa.
outside,
Oh,
you have to have a visa.
okay.
So we were like,
Okay.
okay, we're about to pay for a visa. Let's just stay a week in the country to
okay,
use the
made
visa.
made sense.
Even though it's not, it's like $25. We were like, okay, let's just
That's
go and
okay.
use it. Like,
Yeah.
let's go and just see the place. I'd never been to Mumbai, and he'd never been to India. So we were like, okay, let's go. And we went, and I have a friend there, and it was a vibe.
It was fucking awesome.
It was
India
cool.
is cool
India's
as hell. Like
Mumbai, the southern India is really cool.
So do you get better? Okay, now I'll ask this question, right? Between Mumbai and the Kenyan coast, where were you treated better?
I say Mumbai.
Mumbai.
Yeah, like in Mumbai.
You see how crazy
Yeah.
that sounds, people from Mombasa? That's crazy.
Yeah,
in
for
Mumbai-
sure.
That's crazy.
In Mumbai, I didn't feel like people were not charging me more.
They would try,
Yeah.
and they quickly, as soon as you'd be like, they'd be
yeah.
like, they have meters on their on their tuk-tuks. So they'll be like, oh, 100
So they won't
rupees.
push it.
And
They
I'll be
won't
like,
push it,
no,
yeah.
put the meter on. They'll be like,
Yeah.
nah, and I'll just ask another one. Or they'll be like, okay,
Okay.
come on.
Yeah.
But here it'd be like, they'd fight you for it.
Yeah.
Like, no, give me this
Or
amount.
maybe
or change the price
or
halfway
maybe
through
throw
the
like a
ride.
smack comment, like, you
Yeah.
know, just because you said no to something.
And I think that this is something that I'm actually realizing is that it could be, is that countries that I've been to that are based on a religion or a spiritual practice that surrounds something more lifestyle-like and karmic-like, those cultures treat people really, really different. So in Thailand, they're Buddhist, and this is just like a theory, but it kind of fits the idea is that as a country, this country believes in karma, like as a culture.
So
they
just treat people
good
right. Just
because
treat
why
people-
would you want to come back another life as
Yeah.
a cockroach, or something like that? Now in India, there's this idea of yogic spirituality. There's
Yeah.
Hinduism. There's all
Yeah.
these things where their lifestyles
Yeah.
are not so, like strict. Like you have to go to church every day. But their lifestyles is that they meditate every day. They have this certain kind of way of living that it helps them to treat people better.
Yeah.
But when you're in places like the United States, or let's say, even though Kenya is also like half Muslim, half Christian, all these kind
Yeah.
of things, it's like these cultures don't inspire. It doesn't feel like, even though they're like, following the way that Jesus did things, and stuff like that, the people itself, the culture itself, it doesn't inspire this like cultural understanding of this is why we live our lives in a way that treats people a certain way. And I don't know what it comes from. It could be maybe because people, I don't know, there's a lot of rules in other kind of religions that aren't so much in Buddhism or in Hinduism and these other kind of traditions.
I'm sure that that plays a big role in how
that-
like, just people even just culturally just will conduct themselves.
Yeah, because I was like,
sure.
in India, it could be similar to like in Thailand, like that
I mean,
feeling of like they just
look
treat people cool.
Look what these
Because
people in the church did. They were killing people. They hung my guy Jesus or whatever you want to call him.
Crucified.
Yeah,
Like they,
crucified,
Well, not hung
yeah.
him, crucified him. They
yeah.
put
Yeah.
him literally. They put him like this
Yeah.
to die. You know.
Yeah.
So it's like that's the example.
that we see of a cross, that's
yeah.
what we have versus you have the Buddha under the tree
True,
meditating, or you have these beautiful like gods and goddesses that are like colorful and Kali and all these.
Let's not start with religion
But,
in
you
Africa.
know-
Yeah. Trust.
No,
But I just
in
wonder-
Africa
yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Which I was
I can show you some
surprised.
videos and you'll just be like, how is this even a thing?
I was really surprised. I didn't
Yeah.
know how diverse Kenya was in
It
terms
is.
of East
Oh,
Africa.
yeah, it
I
is.
learned that when we came here about just like the fact that there's the East African Alliance of countries as well,
Mm.
where I didn't know that existed, and that East Africa was its own thing. And Kenya was a part of that. When we're talking about East Africa, I think of Eritrea, Ethiopia, Egypt, like the
shit.
top, right? But
yeah.
I didn't realize that Uganda's a part of that, Rwanda's a part of that, Kenya, Tanzania, these places. And so
Yeah.
it was interesting to come here and to see that there was Muslim influence, Arab culture. Like I was shocked. I did not know that existed here.
Yeah.
Have you visited South Africa by any chance?
Not yet.
Not
This
yet.
is all we've been to.
Oh yeah. But
All we've
South
got is
Africa is
tourists.
also like very beautiful. Very beautiful. It might get confusing if see too many white people in a certain area, but
Apparently, we'd be colored.
definitely,
And that's a negative term in the United States,
Oh yeah.
Like we don't use it colored entrance and the
Yeah.
white entrance. So we don't. That word is like.
But it's also like a vibe. It's also like a really nice place
So
that
I've
for you
heard.
guys. You can go and experience that. And now, because I'm just trying to see, like, now we do have 14 minutes.
Okay.
But also, I just want to just finalize on that finance bit.
Yeah.
Like, what are you guys like looking at just to make sure, like, or what have you even thought of maybe?
Well-
Not even like doing,
But
but
to be fair, I don't have this in my family doesn't even exist.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
A lot of
Like
us don't
there's
have that
What do you
support.
mean?
these conversations,
Yeah.
the language of finance just doesn't exist. They're not
Financial literacy
What do you mean?
in
truly
the families.
in our in at least in our
Oh,
families.
oh,
In our
oh,
families.
oh,
In our
oh,
families.
okay, no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I
So-
understand.
So we are not-
those
We're learning
conversations,
this now
yeah,
as
and
on our
it's
own.
not taught in school
Yeah,
as well.
no one
Yeah.
taught us these
True,
things.
true.
So for recently, what we've been have been talking about is like getting into like real estate and understanding the real estate system in America and how that works.
yeah, okay.
Because what we
'Cause we wanna travel.
what we want to do is have rental properties. Like that is something that like
Something that brings in
Residual income over time.
Yeah.
But that we
yeah.
can also stay in when we go to these
How
places.
about stocks, bonds, things that you can?
That stuff confuses me, so I'm always looking at him
No,
like-
hold on. No, I'll tell you why. Because
Yeah,
like
yeah.
for real estate, you kind of have to be like also around. You want to know what's happening with your property.
Yeah, for sure.
Before you scale up to like the biggest way, but considering that you guys are always traveling and on the go, you can own stocks, you can own government bonds, you can do crypto, and all these things you can kind of like structure them in a way that they give you like dividends. So whether
Which,
it's
but-
monthly or semi-annually, well,
yeah.
what's
Which, by
All
the
of
way,
this is like
bro, I literally-
Chinese.
I literally-
No way.
What to her? I literally have a list.
Yeah.
That I made. So recently, I just got a job. The first job that I've had in about 9 years.
yeah,
Like real job.
A real job, literally
Yeah.
in 9 years since I like left America. Before I left America,
Yeah.
I was just living off of music
yeah.
and art. And that is always like this, you know.
Yeah. Today
And-
it's good, tomorrow it's bad.
And I've
there's a
gotten
big
to-
check today, there's no check tomorrow.
And I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, okay, I'm kind of like tired of it.
Yeah.
And finally, I get this opportunity that like I have consistent work. I'm not doing something that I like at all, but it's bringing in a paycheck.
Yeah.
And I have a list of things that I want to invest in. So that is like crypto, because I did invest in crypto, but it was not that much money, and it was like early COVID times.
Sheesh, that's when I got into, and right now I'm
You're
Living
chilling.
good.
I'm chilling. I'm not working ever.
But at the time, I just didn't. I didn't have the money.
Oh yeah. Okay, kind of
And
get. where
I just didn't have the proper support to really like get into
And
it.
then when you're starting off, you're not also very sure if
Exactly of how to
Yeah.
navigate that. So this is something that now that I have income, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, my goal is like in a few months to
Yeah.
have a
figure out where.
and get my foot on the door.
Yeah,
basically,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
Just try and
Because
even.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand truly the power of all of this shit of investing.
It's gonna change your lives because especially like you've already started traveling and stuff, and you have someone special that you can travel with.
Yeah.
I don't have people I can take with me anywhere who want just cause chaos and trouble but if you have somebody that you can actually get to share that good experience with, teach them as well. Of course, it's also upon you
I
to show a bit
know.
of interest because it's not
Yeah,
that
yeah.
hard.
I am interested
Something
in
that you
it.
can do on your phone. Just think about that's crazy.
I just like money. I like to
And
make
then you should
and I like
pay- then
to
you
make
should pay
money.
attention
So that's
to
why
that.
I'm not necessarily it stresses me out when I think about it
Yeah.
when people mention words
It's
to
not-
me.
it's not
but
that
to me
hard.
in general, I know
Trust
that
me.
if I was taught it,
Yeah.
I will absorb it because
No.
I love to study.
Okay,
I'm
so
that kind
now
of
that's
person, but
why
I'm not gonna
maybe-
go out of my like. it's not something that
no, you
interests me
have to.
enough to
You-
like go and
you love
search
money,
for the
right?
information. But I want to be taught.
Do you-
So I would take a course.
No.
I'm the person
you don't
that will
need a
go and
cour-
take a course
you love
on
money.
it. I like making money.
then you should figure it. And it's, you see, kind of like the same way you landed like in a foreign country. You started teaching. That's because you were pushed to the wall. Now you just push yourself to the wall.
Right.
Yeah.
And just take time. Like even in a week, just learn 2-3 things, basics of this and that. It's so simple.
Yeah, I mean, we could do it
It's so
easily.
simple. It's so
Yeah.
simple that, and I can share like even
Yeah,
just
I was
maybe.
gonna say,
What's the first thing we
If
should
you have
invest
any-
in
any-
right now?
any
We
advice
invest in
on-
tonight.
No, like crypto is already now pumping this
Yeah,
the whole
for
of this
sure.
year. So now this year is not the best time
Yeah,
to
and
go
like
in.
fucking
See, that's what's
Bitcoin is like
confusing.
so
It's
high,
like-
so it's like
But that's what
Oof.
confuses me is that
What?
people are like, oh, like invest in these things, but then they're like, oh, but not now.
No,
And it's
no,
like, but if you wait too long,
because the past like 2 years,
they
like
want to keep going.
No. But like in any market, and like the market from like even like just from New York affects even like how the crypto world is going to go. So anytime the market is just doing well, it always has to correct itself. That's just standard, and that's why like there's always like trading every single day. And I'm not talking about day traders. I'm just talking like the market in general. That's why they'll always have news updates about like the S&P 500 performed this way. You have your Googles, you have your Amazon, but the market always goes up and down. That's how people make money. You buy, sell. But now we're talking about big corporate entities, BlackRocks and everything. And these are American companies. You should know more about them.
I think I have some investments from my mom when I was a kid in like
Oh,
Disney
shit.
or something. That's the
Oh,
only
Disney.
thing. Yeah, she put them in my sister and I's name when we were kids. So I was like, I know there's something that I have,
But you
but
didn't
she doesn't
even
give
pay
me
it.
information about them. I've asked her multiple
Oh.
times, and she runs it. And I'm like, well, what happens when knock on wood? But
No, but you have to like kind of force kind of conversations. Not even just force, but anybody who's next to you, just make it like a normal thing because finances are basically, whether we want it or not, they still run our lives. That's how you can book your tickets. That's how you can buy your food. That's how you can like, I can't even imagine if I'm having a vegan lifestyle and my finances don't come. And then I'm just looking at like piece of meat somewhere there, especially like in Kenya, I just eat meat, man. I'll be like, yo, fuck zucchini, I can't do this. I can't do it.
which is
But
kind of wild that, I guess like you would want to be in a place.
I'm saying we have 7 minutes.
Okay,
so
cool.
I just do want to wrap it up and just say, first of all, thank you so much for responding like to my DM. It was very random. And you guys like, he responded like almost to me. But
I saw it at the same time, and I just saw. I said,
I
"Oh, did you
guessed.
respond to him?" And I was
Yeah.
like, "Cool,
Yeah.
I will just leave it." And
that's
let
why
you-
like I was just grateful, like at least like he was just like, you know what, like we're good to go, like we're already back, we can do it in a day or two. And I was like, you know what, these are the kind of people I need in my podcast. And just sharing your journey, I respect and I really appreciate that. And I do hope that you guys get all your dreams to come true.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate it.
I'm looking forward to
That
like,
means a lot.
probably having like 3 or 4 kids probably in the next 5 years.
What number is this for the person?
Okay, not
people
every
have
year.
wished this on us?
Okay, you can skip every year
The
and then
amount of people that have said this.
But in the
also, it's
last
just
few
crazy.
months, it's
because I
actually
think
insane.
because I can see it like you'd be such nice parents, especially if you start like at because you love each other, right?
Yeah.
Or do you have like other crazy partners? I don't know what you guys are into. I mean, I wouldn't know. But I'm just saying, if you have that person that you actually just love, because it's so hard nowadays to just even find people that you can share. Like even just the journey that you guys are in, not everybody has or can even build such a story.
Yeah.
So, if you ever get to that point, I think, it's cool to start early when you can. Because,
Honestly, we need to get into crypto first.
Oh yeah. I'll share the tips that I
Because I feel
can,
like
and
that's
also
me.
especially because what passports do you guys hold?
I have a U.S. passport, and he
yeah?
has.
I have the U.S. and then I have a Dominican passport.
But that's what I'm saying,
Dominican.
because if you hold like just such
We just got into
citizenship,
credit recently because Americans we can have credit, and credit is
So
We've been learning credit is cool.
This
Yeah.
is also why and just to make it short,
Yeah.
I've been building my credit because we went back for the first time after like 7 years, and she
Yeah.
after
September,
5
like
years.
last year.
So then I took the opportunity to properly set up some things that I didn't have
Yeah.
before. You know
Got
what I
his
mean? So building
passport.
like credit and stuff. Like my credit a few months ago was like below average, and right now it's like it's good.
That's
so,
good.
so I'm
That's
I'm
probably-
building this credit so that to
'Cause-
use it
'cause-
to
'cause-
my
Because that's
to my
how people
advantage.
buy properties and
Because
things
in
like
our
that.
country we don't need credit. You know that, right?
Yeah.
You can just come up with like, $1 million and spread it all around if you want. They do not really. But that's why I'm saying, like, for you guys, you have a slightly big advantage because you're coming from places where they already have all these systems in place. So you can spread your investments in so many different
Now,
things.
this is why,
Yeah.
personally, I was not in it properly. It was because I wasn't in the country.
And
And I didn't have a bank account in America.
Oh,
I didn't have,
credit, all those
None
things
of
that you're
that.
talking about. Yeah.
until I went back of last year. You know what I
recently.
mean? So this is kind of like building slowly.
Just do it. I think, and even just the sooner you start, like, trust me, like, the better. I'm in a developing country, and I can proudly say I don't really need to wake up in the morning to go and work, and I'll
That's
still be able to
awesome.
feed myself,
That's
do
awesome.
all the things that. But it's just because I paid attention to, especially during COVID, all I was studying is just finance. I was just like, how are all these dumb people making money though?
Yeah.
Makes no sense because there's some people who are just chilling.
Yeah.
And first of all, it's just people who are like, problematic and everything. But once you study numbers and just understand how it works, buying low, selling high, and compounding interest, you're good because you can plan for the future, plan for now, and have systems in place that, you just put a little bit of extra cash and your dividends, which are now payouts, keep increasing up.
Which this
So-
is why we're here. This is also another thing. A clear message, like
I'm,
that, like, oh,
meeting
okay.
you and you telling us this while we've been talking about these things.
Yeah.
That's why I'm on TikTok now and posting. It's because I realized there's a lot of mediocre people
Yep.
making bank on these
Yeah.
social media apps.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're so freaking interesting.
And like even with you guys, like depending on where you opened like your TikTok accounts, especially like Americans can withdraw payment from TikTok if you start clocking certain numbers. Like for us,
Like I
we
opened
can't
it in
because our
Thailand.
government has not yet like approved proper ways on. People can kind of make money, but not the same amount of money like how an American passport holder can.
They about to ban that
Like,
too,
yeah,
so who knows?
Oh yeah. 'cause-
Yeah.
Okay. Let's hope they
Yeah,
don't,
I
because
know, I
it's
really
also
hope
like
they
boosting the
don't.
economy in a very good
Truly.
way. So I don't understand why they.
Because
Okay, they'll figure it out. Yeah, of course. Just a whole different story.
But
But
yes.
anyway, we do have 2 minutes. So now, just tell the people what else you have going on, where they can find you, if there's any tips for traveling you want to do. Just, the floor is yours. But you do have 2 minutes.
Okay, so
Actually, 1 minute, not even 2. 1
okay,
minute.
so you can follow us at Between the Waves on either Instagram or TikTok, and waves with a
No E.
no E,
Like a wave
yeah,
file.
like a wave file. Yeah, on Instagram there you can find both of our Instagrams as well. Hers is just musing around. Mine is Ralphy.wave.
If you found me on TikTok, it's just Musebeing.
Musebeing, yeah. And mine is Ralphy.wave, W-A-V. And honestly, just more creation, more expression. We're going to
kind.
continue to travel.
Yeah.
Because that's literally our passion, is just like experiencing new things. And I don't know, what you want to say?
That's it. I feel like, just follow the journey.
Follow the journey, though.
Because this is
basically.
only the beginning, truly. Like, we're just getting started.
And there's so much more to us that we don't really share, and that we're now trying to be comfortable in
sharing that,
a lot
yeah.
more
More of our life.
of our experience and our journey, because again, it's
It's unique.
and it's not many people that look like us and that are doing any other things that we are
Doing.
So yeah.
We have to wrap it up, guys. We have to wrap it up.
Peace and love.
The Kisscapades podcast is your gateway to holistic growth and personal transformation. Together, we'll unlock the secrets to living a life of health, wealth, love, and happiness. So make sure to tune in every week and join us as we explore the essence of what it means to truly thrive. And lastly, show us some love and support in our social media platforms from Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, basically all the social media platforms that support podcasting will definitely be there. Even with the short clips and reels, you can find us there. And lastly, don't be shy with feedback, suggestions, or any questions that you might have in regards to the episodes or our podcast. It's the Kisscapades Podcast. Goodbye.